still gotta fix that score on that caffeine thing my friend made me. But anyways, welcome to season 10, episode 1, episode 301 totally. We're talking about kind of caffeine. I got my two guests here today, and I'll introduce themselves, starting at the top.
That's me? Alright. Alright, my name is Schnick1990, otherwise known as Schnick1985, Schnick1980, depending on the platform. And I was a former main guest star on the podcast before I left to pursue other interests. I now work a full-time career. I don't do much YouTube anymore. Yeah. But I'm back for a little guest appearance, because why not?
And you all know Eric.
Oh yeah, I have been on here multiple times. My first time coming on was in 2019. I can't believe that was 3 years ago now. Yeah, it was after I debated Kent Hovind multiple times. But yeah, in a nutshell, I have two YouTube channels. My primary one's Eric Vierthaler 992. I've had that since 2009. My secondary channel is Eric the Tyrannoceratops, where I refute a lot of pseudoscience, primarily young Earth creationism, but I also have debunked the flat Earth too. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
And that's where I was going to get at, because right before we started the show, I was like, wait, this guy Eric looks familiar. And then I was like, I saw his channel before, because I remember at one point Lamont was trying to, I guess, like, your channel was taken down for like a strike or something. I don't know exactly.
Oh, I remember that. And actually, it's because of that strike is actually why that I pretty much created Eric the Tyrannoceratops, is because that I thought that I lost Eric Vierthaler in 92, and I was devastated because all those years of my life that I put in to, all the content on there, I did get the channel back, but then that was when I decided, okay, how about all my movie content and, and all my comedy sketches, that will go on Eric Vierthaler 92, but all my counter creationism and counter pseudoscience content will be Eric the Tyrannoceratops.
Fair enough. I mean, when I was making video game reviews, I thought about making a separate channel for them, but then I abandoned that idea. So, but reason I bring that up is because I remember watching one of your videos, the review of Toy Story 4. If I remember If I remember correctly, you did not like that movie.
I didn't hate it. I didn't outright hate it, but it was disappointing. It was underwhelming.
I didn't like the movie either, so...
Yeah, I didn't like it, Vandalia, have you seen it?
I saw the very end of it where, spoilers here, where Woody left Bonnie to go ex-girlfriend, the Bo Peep.
Yeah, and that was a big problem that I had with the movie. That just seemed so unlike Woody and whatnot, and it just felt really forced. Toy Story 3 wrapped it up so well that, there really was no point. I mean, yeah, Forky was funny, and the two stuffed bears, I thought they were funny. But other than that, it just felt really unnecessary.
I also hated how Bonnie just suddenly didn't give a shit about Woody. Like, everybody...
Yeah, I took issue with that, too.
Everybody defends it by saying, oh, she's a little kid, her interests change. But isn't it a little too convenient that she still loves all her other toys?
But Woody... And don't you think Andy's going to be pissed knowing that she lost Woody? Knowing that she told him, please take special care of this toy.
And that's another thing people defend. They're like, oh, that's a big responsibility to put on like a 4-year-old, but don't you think Andy's still going to be upset about it?
Yeah, regardless, because Woody was his favorite toy. And that right there takes such a big dump on the ending of Toy Story 3. And that's what I really didn't like about Toy Story 4.
And that's the whole thing. Like, she loves all the toys, but she seems to love Woody more than any of them. Like, after all, Andy kind of hesitated giving Woody away, but because she was about to get really upset and everything, he was like, all right. And then like he gives like the whole speech and everything, and then it's like, oh,
But now he's probably going to regret it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He should have went to college with Andy.
Yeah. Well, the Venerable Beats said he didn't like it either.
I did not like Toy Story 4.
People confused for crying.
But yeah, so we are on the topic of Disney and the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, Pixar, MCU, all both Disney products.
Yeah, Disney didn't buy Marvel until like 2010 or 11 around there, and so
2009.
So it originally didn't start off as a Disney
so it was a few. They had a few products under their belt before Disney bought them. But did you all think when Iron Man came out in 2008? I think 2008.
2008.
Yeah, it was 2008.
There'd be all these movies nowadays, all connected.
Oh no, I had no idea. I mean, I don't think any of us had any clue that at that point Iron Man was going to be the start of the biggest movie franchise in history. Now I did research. The Marvel Cinematic Universe now has made more money than Star Wars.
Well, I believe it was the last 3 movies Star Wars made.
But yeah,
joke.
Yeah. I remember when Iron Man came out, I didn't see it in theaters, and now I kind of wish that I did. But yeah,
honestly, sorry, go on.
I remember everybody at school was talking about like just how great of a movie it was, and the teachers were talking about how good it was. And at that time, I had no idea who Iron Man was.
Yeah, I knew.
Oh, did you want to go on?
I was gonna say, I knew who Iron Man was because in the '90s Spider-Man cartoon, he made one guest appearance on a 2-parter. I think him and War Machine made a little guest appearance for a 2-part Spider-Man thing.
Yeah, Iron Man and War Machine appeared like in the episode where Carnage came in. Like it was Venom returning and Carnage first appearing, but then Iron Man also returned for like the Secret Wars story arc. And also, you might not notice, but Iron Man had his own cartoon back then with like the same voice actor from like the Spider-Man guest appearances. I mean, the first season was not good, but then the second season actually was good. I remember they were playing, like, I think they were marathoning the entire second season on Jetix, like around the time the 2008 Iron Man came out.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that go in the future here, but I think in this, apparently, according to people in the comics, apparently, talking about the third movie now, but the Mandarin's apparently a big deal for Iron Man, but people were upset when they turned out to be a fake.
Yeah, that was issue that I took with Iron Man 3, and on top of that, you know, there were a lot of other issues that I took with it. But yeah, Iron Man 2 was disappointing. Iron Man 3 was disappointing for me. But yeah, I kind of wish we would have gone an Iron Man 4, but I guess you could technically count Civil War as Iron Man 4.
Yeah.
In part.
Yeah, because I don't think he's coming back at all. And even if they did, it'd have to be a
new person.
New person. Like even if he did come back, it would have to be like a back in time movie or something, the past.
Yeah, someone says in the comments the Mandarin was in Shang-Chi. I have not seen Shang-Chi, but it makes sense that the Mandarin would be in that. And yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Hey, I'll be right back.
He also talked about the Incredible Hulk and about how it's kind of like a sequel to the movie they had earlier, but not. Also because that movie starts
2003 one.
Yeah, but it's connected but not connected because by this time, because they still kind of flashbacks, I think, but this movie comes out, he's already has his powers.
No, like basically the two are not, the only way they're really connected is that the first one, the 2003 one, ends with him being like, I think like Brazil or something, and like story-wise they are not connected, but the 2008 one does start with like him in Brazil.
Yeah, and he's, like I said, he's already got his powers too.
Yeah.
At this point, that was speaking of that and the Brazil pop machine thing, I think that was one of the cameo things I remember the most. Him drinking that pop and dying.
Oh yeah, Stan Lee. Also, there's one thing you might. The thing is, before Avengers came out, honestly, the Hulk movie was actually like the first instance that they of course the movies are famous for their post-credit scenes. So the first Iron Man has the post-credit scene with Nick Fury.
Uh-huh.
And then the Hulk, then the post-credit, like the ending of Hulk actually was like the moment where they're like, yeah, we're serious about making like this big shared universe, because the ending of Hulk has an appearance from Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, like just Tony Stark. Yeah.
Now, VB, are you talking about the 2003 movie as part of the MCU?
I think they're talking about the 2008 one.
Well, I knew
Yeah,
that.
the 2008 one is.
Yeah, I knew that one. I knew that.
The 2003 one is not.
That's what I thought, but I was confused what you were saying.
Yeah, I did see the 2003 one in theaters. I saw that with my grandpa. And even back then, I thought the CGI was kind of bad. And the tone, there were times where it had the comic book feel, but it had such a serious and dark tone where I just feel like that really clashed. Whereas the Sam Raimi movies, where the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies really worked, is because that, it's because they didn't take themselves too seriously. They took them seriously enough, and they felt like a comic book. And so, so that's where the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies worked, where the 2003 Hulk did not.
Yeah.
It's funny because, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to say this little tidbit about the 2003 one real quick. You say that the special effects were not very convincing and all that. Apparently, the company that did all the effects, Industrial Light and Magic, creating the Hulk was probably their, at least according to IMDb, don't quote me on this.
Okay.
It was apparently the biggest project they had ever done up to that point. Like they put so much blood, sweat, tears, time.
Yeah,
and at the end of it, the Hulk still looked fake. And guess what? The most common comparison to what the Hulk looked like in that movie was my old friend Shrek.
And it's funny, and the Hulk looked fine, but just some of the other CGI, like that one guy, that other character was transforming or whatnot, it looked really bad. Yeah, oh man, it's heavily dated. And the 2008 Hulk, I remember everybody got confused thinking that it was a sequel to the 2003 one when it first came out. And it was better, but it wasn't great either.
Speaking of that movie Hulk and Real Fast, did either of you see the 70s or 70s/80s Hulk TV series?
I've seen clips of
with
it.
With that wrestler as Hulk.
Fun fact: he also had a cameo in the 2003 one. He appears in Stan Lee's cameo in the 2003 one, and he is also the one doing the Hulk's voice in the 2008 one.
Oh, cool. Speaking of 2008, I think from what I was reading back then, they introduced a villain there. Like I forget what his name is when that gamma stuff dripped on him, but then that villain never showed up anywhere else. At the very end of the Hulk movie.
Yeah, from what I heard, Edward Norton got replaced in the Avengers because Edward Norton is notorious for being very difficult to work with on set.
Mm-hmm.
So and so that's pretty much the reason why he got replaced with Mark Ruffalo. And to be honest with you, I mean, I like Edward Norton as an actor, but I definitely liked Mark Ruffalo's take more.
Yeah, everybody does, I think.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about some some kind of villain in the Hulk series or future villain at the very end.
You're thinking about the leader, where they didn't go anywhere with that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
haven't seen the 2008 one in a long time.
Because here's the confusing thing with the Hulk, because everybody goes on about how Sony still has the rights to Spider-Man and they're just kind of sharing with Marvel Studios.
Yeah.
What people tend to forget is that there's a good reason why the Hulk hasn't had a standalone movie in years. Universal apparently still has the Hulk rights.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you'll notice, like, on the 2008 one, Universal's logo's at the start instead of Paramount, who was distributing the movies before Disney took over.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so because of that, I guess Universal has to give the green light for a standalone. Like, I don't even know how they still have the rights, like how they've gotten away without making a standalone movie for so long, because that was something 20th Century had to do with Fantastic Four, Daredevil, X-Men, and all that.
Yeah.
But
I don't know how they've gone away for this long. I mean, it's been well over 10 years since that Edward Norton film came out. So they must have had to do some sort of mental gymnastics to hold on to those rights.
And that also leaves the question of how, I mean, how they're able to use the Hulk in all non-Hulk standalone Hulk movies. It probably is in a similar fashion to what they do with Spider-Man, because like anything Spider-Man appears in that's not actually a Spider-Man movie, like Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, like those ones, Marvel Studios is like entirely in charge, but they have to give like a little production credit to Sony for letting them use it for the movie. Like I don't know if they do that for Universal with the Hulk, but for some reason they're able to freely use the Hulk in non-Hulk movies. But like if it's a standalone movie, then no, they need Universal to do it.
Which it only makes me wonder, it's because that the Hulk was so well received in the Avengers, it just kind of and all the other movies, and with recently with how Sony and Marvel made that deal with Spider-Man, why can't Universal and Marvel team up like to do a solo Hulk film? People would love to see that.
They are doing a She-Hulk series for Disney Plus. I'm guessing
that's close.
I have no idea if She-Hulk is in Universal's grasp, but
I don't know.
But speaking of Hulk and Avengers, that was my favorite. That was my favorite line. It was really affected me in some way. He says, "That's my secret. I'm always angry."
And then and then I remember there were so many memes about that one scene in the movie, and one of my other favorite scenes, it was when Captain America was telling all of these people orders, and then he said, "Okay, and Hulk, smash."
Yeah,
that was awesome.
But then
there were just sorry.
So go on next. We talk back there, but in the next movie, Iron Man 2, we got our first appearance of Black Widow, I think, and our first appearance of Phil Coulson, who got his own series later on.
The first one.
I don't think he was in the first.
So
he was.
Character was originally played by somebody else in the first Iron Man, but there were some pay disputes, so that's why they
were talking about War Machine, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about Phil Coulson. Yeah, you're right. Right, he was in the first movie.
I'm gonna look this. Yeah, I think Phil Coulson was in the first Iron Man. Let me make sure.
You guys ever watch the Shield series on Netflix? Or
I tried. I couldn't.
Are you talking about Agents of Shield?
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I've heard mixed things about it.
Yeah,
Phil Coulson did appear in the first Iron Man, so I was right.
I
tried watching Agents of Shield. I couldn't get more than a few episodes in, and sadly, a lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm just not a fan of most live action TV.
Yeah, I saw. I cut up the last two. I cut up the last two seasons very recently. I stopped it for a while after the fifth season when it mixed up with the end game. But then the last two seasons were okay at all, but they did not they did not mention the snap at all, like it happened someplace else.
From what I understand, for whatever reason, like because it's like some kind of I was reading up on it. From what I hear, the last few seasons did some kind of event that completely removed Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. from the MCU continuity.
I know, like last episode season 5, they're talking about Phantoms Beyond Earth and stuff. Then apparently a year passes in continuity, and they only mentioned anything. Like, and apparently all the characters there didn't all the S.H.I.E.L.D. characters didn't get, none of them got vaporized.
But yeah, and back then when they made the first Iron Man, it actually was a really big risk. It's because that, you know, Iron Man was not a household name, and Robert Downey Jr. From that time, you know, he was just coming off of all of his criminal record history and whatnot, and you know, it was kind of washed up at that point. So yeah, making the first Iron Man was a huge risk, but it paid off well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard at one point before Robert Downey Jr., I remember hearing on the radio that it originally was going to be Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, huh?
As Tony Stark. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
But okay, so yeah, Coulson and stuff. Oh yeah, and then also besides showing the scenes from Hulk in the TV screens and Iron Man 2, they also mentioned something happening in Nevada, which leads into the Thor movie.
Yeah.
The connections are starting.
Yeah.
Hawkeye's first appearance was also in the first Thor.
I haven't seen the first Thor in like 10 years, so I don't remember that. I do remember that one of that one side character who was a girl who I think said, "Oh, Thor's hot." I thought she was kind of annoying.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, and the story felt like could have been a little bit better. You know, I guess I just didn't really buy Thor's transformation and whatnot. I didn't buy the chemistry between him and Natalie Portman.
Is that why they dropped her in the third movie or after that, or the future movies?
From my understanding, it's because of contract issues. She was forced to be in Thor: The Dark World, which I haven't seen, but I heard Thor: The Dark World was not very good. And yeah, she was in Avengers Endgame, but that was only because of past footage that they didn't use.
She's supposed to be in the new Thor: Love and Thunder movie that's coming out, but
yes, yeah, she is. They must have convinced her with a really big pitch and whatnot, and a big paycheck.
I mean, she is supposed to be like a female version of Thor, from what we understand. So.
And I heard Christian Bale's going to be in it too.
Christian Bale, huh? Oh, also, because she just wandered down here, look who this is.
Hello. And yeah, my dog.
On older episodes, I may have shown my dog on camera.
Simba.
This is his daughter.
Cool.
He's still doing good. Like, he's still young, energetic, but he has a baby now. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's Simba. Eric here posts a lot of his pictures of him and his Simba and his like him and his nephew all the time on Instagram.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. But yeah, it's crazy to think that in February we'll make the 5-year anniversary of when I first got Simba. Holy crap, it's been 5 years.
She was actually born in 2019, like in July, and so she's already 2 years old.
How old is the first one? The daddy?
The dad, he is 6.
6 years. Yeah, I remember when you first got him 6 years ago.
Yeah, like if you go all the way back to the season 3 finale where we were talking about Star Wars Force Awakens, I had like a tub of popcorn, like in like a tin popcorn container that I used to go see the movie because I was watching another movie that night, and he was climbing all over me, giving me kisses. Like, I think he also wanted to get at the popcorn, but
barking like crazy, barking like crazy.
Yeah, he was a massive troublemaker when he was a baby. Like, this one, the little one right here, she is not as much of a troublemaker in that she doesn't really shred papers or, like, anything like that. In fact, when she was on the potty pad, she was really damn good with going on it instead of, like, making accidents on the floor, you know. But there's one little trade-off she does. She barks at everybody who is not immediate family. Like, she gets aggressive.
All right, now I feel like that we're getting a little bit off topic.
But you wanted it. That's what she looks like. All right, let's go.
We do that a lot here. You know, Snick knows that.
Yeah.
But anyways, okay.
It used to be worse. We were on 4, and so that would bring us to Captain America.
Yeah. You guys never really saw Thor, or you never saw Thor?
I did see Thor, because that's interesting with Thor. The first time I ever saw it was when I was in a class in high school that was all focused on science fiction and fantasy. And out of nowhere, the teacher decided to do a unit on Marvel movies the superhero movie. And of all movies, she started with Thor. And basically the whole thing is we had to watch Thor, and after we had to do a project about the hero's journey story type. And it's funny because even though the first Thor was not that remarkable, if I remember correctly, the class ate it up. Like, they loved the movie. Like, I don't remember exactly why. All I remember is that there was a strong reaction to the scene. There was just a strong reaction to the scene where they're in the coffee shop where he drinks coffee. This drink, I like it. I know, it's good, right? Another!
Yeah. I thought that scene was funny, but yeah. I loved it when I first saw it, but as time goes on, though, I guess my enjoyment of the movie kind of diminishes because I guess I noticed more of its problems. Like, it's by no means an awful movie. Now I say it's just about average.
Yeah. Some movies are better for rewatching value. Other ones are just like one and done. That was a cool movie. Don't lose interest after a while. But some movies, like, I want to see that again, like, sometime in the future.
Yeah, well, still, the class loved the movie. In fact, when we got to Avengers, because then we watched Captain America next, then we did Hulk, and then we did the Iron Man movies back to back, and then we finished the unit with Avengers. Everybody was waiting for the moment Thor came in. I don't know why, but they were.
But speaking of Thor, I don't know about you guys, but growing up, besides maybe Thor and maybe Odin, I didn't hear much about the. I heard more about the Greek mythology stuff than I ever heard about the mythology up in Scandinavian mythology.
Well, it's funny because my introduction, with the Marvel characters in general, obviously Spider-Man was like the first one I was interested in. And then like the animated series got me to see like the X-Men, Captain America, Iron Man, and all that. Thor, I was actually introduced to, I don't think anyone remembers this game, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Like, it's kind of like a beat-em-up game, action RPG kind of game, where it's like a big mega crossover of Marvel characters. Well, Thor is one of the characters you start with, and he's basically one of the main characters of the game. And, well, that's where I learned of him.
All right.
So.
Well, at the end of Thor, we got another. Starting when the Easter eggs are starting to be connected. We sneak previews and stuff. We get a view of the Tesseract, which brings us to Captain America.
Yeah, Captain America was the next one.
So I heard that they in that movie they like they had to CGI his body down for the first.
Yeah. They did actually, and then I can't believe the first Captain America is like over 10 years old now. Holy crap! But the first Captain America I think I like better than the first Thor. I mean, the first Captain America, I although I do like the Winter Soldier a lot better, just to be honest. But
Pretty sure everybody did.
Oh yeah, I don't know if this is a real comment or a troll comment, but
Thor's a pagan god, is therefore bad. Don't want you to cause you to do bad things.
Uh,
Well, I know that I do know, like that the popular movie critic Chris Stuckman, who said he used to be a Jehovah's Witness. He said that the elders at, I'm gonna be blunt. JW is a cult, and and with the elders there, they're saying, "Oh, you watch Thor, so," and that's a pagan god, right? Yeah, so maybe Greg's a Jehovah's Witness. That would make sense to me.
like I said,
I mean, he could be genuine because of that. I mean, there are Jehovah's Witnesses who genuinely do believe that Thor is bad because a pagan god, but he could be trolling.
Some people also think that Pokemon is bad because My Little Pony's bad.
For what?
I don't know.
That's stupid.
Okay, well, people find lots of reasons to find stuff to be bad.
Yeah. So Captain America, they CGI'd his body down, and I love that one scene where he got the flagpole to come down.
Yeah.
Like whoever gets that flag up there gets a ride. Like they all try to climb it, they can't get it. He's up there like slip, crap, like kaboom. Then okay, here you go, bye. Like is that one of those brains over bronze situations people talk about?
But I remember when I first saw the first Captain America, I kind of thought that Red Skull was a little bit disappointing. Granted, it had much better makeup than from that 1990 movie.
Oh, on the subject of that, apparently the guy who I found this out recently. Apparently, the guy who played Captain America in that movie wanted to make a cameo in like the new one, like the 2011 one. The director, I don't remember exactly what the director said. I don't know if the director ignored him or said no, that's not a good idea. But basically they told him no.
Wait, so who said that they wanted a cameo? Someone.
The guy who played Captain America in the 1991.
I think I can see why, because that 1990 movie was terrible.
Yeah.
And he is a JW.
Ah, I thought so.
He's
a cult. Sorry, man, but you are in a cult.
Jehovah's Witness.
Okay. I don't know what that is, but I figure it's bad.
All you need to know, it's a cult.
Yeah.
Stay as far away as possible. They are a cult. Yep. Jehovah's Witnesses have ruined people's lives.
Yeah, I off topic, but I see. I talk the Telltale Heart guy talks about his former stuff him a lot. But speaking of Red Skull, were you surprised when he made his reappearance in the Endgame?
I was, and he was not played by Hugo Weaving because apparently Hugo Weaving said that he's done with doing big blockbuster movies, which is probably why that he didn't come back for Matrix Resurrections either.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, did they ever explain why it says early that the super soldier serum affected them both differently?
Affected Captain America and Red Skull?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the first Captain America in a really long time. I vaguely remember it. I do remember there was that one scene where they paid tribute to Captain America's look in the original comics. I thought that was cool. And I liked his new suit, you know, how it looked like a war suit. I thought that was cool and it made sense. And I definitely thought that Steve Rogers was a very sympathetic and likable character in it. And the fight scenes were cool, but I don't really remember much about it. It's been like 10 years ever since I watched it.
Yeah, so that's what like I said, they mentioned that since he did he had the serum first in the movie, and then like apparently it gave him that red tint in his face. I guess it melted the skin off, but Captain America made him more better.
It was kind of interesting. Now that I remember, they had like this really advanced technology in World War II when they didn't have that kind of technology back then. But you know, I guess suspension of disbelief, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, but really, yeah, but it kind of makes you think if that was real back then, like even in real life, usually unfortunately it's usually wars that advance technology a lot of times.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But yeah, I remember when I was a kid, I used to read the Captain America comics. So yeah, so I definitely was really glad to see another film adaptation. I know that they were trying to get another movie made for the longest time after that horrendous 1990 movie.
Oh yeah, I've seen some clips of that. That was
Yeah, I saw the Nostalgia Critics review of it, and oh man, that movie is bad. I mean, it's really bad. But yeah, and but yeah, the Winter Soldier though, yeah. I mean, there's a reason why that one is regarded as one of the best in the MCU. Because man, that one, you know, people often say that sequels are never as good as the original. That's one of the rare exceptions where it actually is better than the original.
Yeah, it's did he did Bucky survive that fall, or did he die and they brought him back to life?
I haven't seen Winter Soldier since I saw it in the theaters. Yeah, it was supposed to be like this big plot twist that, oh, Bucky's alive. Maybe Schnick could maybe remind me, you know, how they explained that he came back.
I'm pretty sure it was like through experiments with that surviving doctor that was like underneath the Red Skull. Like I forget what the guy's name is. Arnim Zola, I think. He's the one that brought Bucky back.
Yeah. But that
I'm not sure if he was dead or like enhanced. All I know is that they kind of halted his aging, which is how he's able to go 70 years later without looking old.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but that one thing after he died, I thought it was cool because Captain America was trying to get drunk after that, but but since he had that metabolism, he couldn't get drunk.
Yep.
So, and his quote death scene, but. Well, first call, I was glad they finally paid it off because we never know what happened to him. It seemed like a portal was opening up to him when he got the Tesseract and he got zooped away, but we never saw him again for the longest time. But with Captain America, is that how he disappears or dies, whatever, in the other Captain America movies or series? Was in the ice, or was that new for that movie?
No, like in other like Captain America stuff, like he gets frozen in ice like that. Like I know it was definitely like that in Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I'm pretty sure that's what happened in the animated series, Spider-Man.
Okay, then we get to the Avengers. Were they all
the Avengers? I remember that came out my senior year.
That was definitely 10 years ago this year.
Yeah, holy crap! That came out 10 years ago now.
Yeah, 2012. It's now 2022.
Dang, I can't believe that. That's hard for me to wrap my head around. That was 10 years ago. But yeah, there was so much hype about it back then because we'd never seen anything like that at that time. You know, to have all this build up, you know, to a superhero team. And yeah, I remember everybody at school was talking about it. And yeah, I remember everybody at school. I remember everybody like was quoting the lines from it. And yeah, and that still is one of the highest grossing films of all time. I forget where exactly it's at, but yeah, the Avengers. You know, I remember somebody made this fan edit where it was the Power Rangers intro. You know, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers intro theme and whatnot.
Yeah.
But they had it Avengers themed, and it worked extremely well.
There were a lot of intros like that using like the different Power Ranger seasons, like using different franchises.
But yeah, but it definitely worked for the Avengers because the Avengers had somewhat of a similar tone like to Power Rangers.
Yeah, but speaking of the Avengers coming together, before you off screen before you joined on, me and Snick were talking about the how, except for a few things, the DC Comics didn't do that as well, bringing them together as the Marvel Universe did.
Oh, definitely not.
Well, the problem with how DC did it is that Marvel, the main thing, of course, other than like the writing and all that, was that Marvel, they took their time setting it up. First, it started as just Iron Man. Then we get Hulk, which is not a full crossover yet, but like you get like those little hints, and that continues into Thor, that continues into Captain America. Then finally they all come together, and now that they're all together, now they can do like more regular crossover stuff. With DC, they started with Superman, and then the sequel, which was Batman versus Superman, they're immediately doing the crossover stuff. Like we have a brand new version of Batman who we've never been introduced to. That could have been mitigated maybe if they connected it to the Dark Knight trilogy. Like maybe if it connected to the Dark Knight trilogy, it would have been better. But no, it's a brand new version of Batman. Then they're shoving Wonder Woman into it too.
Wonder Woman did not need to be in Batman v Superman.
And then, on top of that, they're doing hints for Aquaman, Flash, and Cyborg, and then Suicide Squad's continuing to do it, and then they're immediately on Justice League.
Yeah.
Well, there's also Wonder Woman, but yeah.
Yeah, Justice League, oh man. That movie, it could have been so much better because, you know, there wasn't really any character development for the other characters. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't care. And
the only DC movie I actually liked on that theme, I don't even connected, was I like Shazam. That's more for the orphanage, foster kid lineup than anything else. Because I was a foster kid, so I connected there.
Well, DC, I mean, they're still a complete mess right now, but they're at least having
doing better.
A better track record. They're having a bit of a better track record now because now they decided to stop the shared. I mean, everything's still apparently a shared universe, but they're really doubling down on like making everything a solo effort.
Yeah, like I said, I mentioned this before other things, but yeah, I think the difference between the Marvel Civil War and the Batman Superman Civil War thing was they had built up to that event that by different ideologies throughout the movies, and then Batman Superman, they're like, we're both here, fight now.
Yeah, and a big missed opportunity with Batman v Superman. So Superman killed Zod at the end of Man of Steel, and Batman has his "I do not kill" rule. So that would have been the perfect opportunity for Batman and Superman to have that, feud. And Superman had such remorse about killing Zod, but then in Batman v Superman, he's going right back to killing people again. I'm like, did you not learn anything?
I never thought about that, actually. I never thought about that.
But yeah, and their reasoning for fighting each other was kind of dumb. And a lot of it felt like a repeat from the Dark Knight trilogy because, we saw the bats surrounding Bruce Wayne again. I'm like, surrounding him in the well. I'm like, we already saw that in Batman Begins.
Yeah, and I think people also said the reason they stopped fighting was dumb too. That their moms had the same name.
Even dumber than the reason they started fighting.
I mean, there was a reason why that there have been so many memes about that. Like, oh, your mom has the same name as mine. We should totally become best friends, and you and I totally should go to Taco Bell. Oh man, doing that voice is rough on my neck.
That's the Christian Bale voice.
Yeah.
I can tell.
It is. It totally is.
Where are the other drugs going?
Where are the other drugs going? Swear to me. Yeah. Hey, Superman, do you want to have a sleepover with me at the Batcave now? Now that I know that our moms have the same first name.
Sleepover. But anyways, but then also at the end of that movie, we got our first look at Thanos. Did you
at the end of Avengers? Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know who that was when they first appeared? Him or
that was not Josh Brolin?
Originally, it was not Josh Brolin in the first one.
I got tough again, but that reminds me when they first they had the in Star Wars 5 when later on you only change I didn't mind that much is when they re-edited the Ian McDermott into the fifth movie.
Yeah, with Star Wars.
Yeah,
that's the only change I didn't really mind that much of the old movies.
But Han Solo casually dodging his head when being shot at. I'm like, who in the world casually dodges a bullet like?
Not even that. Like, it's not even him leaning over like this. It's like his neck. Like you can tell it's a digital edit. Like it's his neck.
Yeah, I am trying to recreate it, but it's like my neck naturally can't.
I can recreate it in SFM if you want. Wouldn't be hard.
But then that all started the who shot first meme stuff.
Yeah. Oh man, that was the cringiest change they made. Oh man,
the Blu-ray version made even cringier changes by adding voice lines where there didn't need to be. Like in episode 5, after the "I am your father" scene, in most of the versions, Luke just kind of silently drops down to escape Vader. But in the Blu-ray version, they make him where he does this triumphant scream as he falls down. And then Return of the Jedi's Blu-ray made another stupid edit.
Yeah, where Darth Vader yelled no after dropping Palpatine.
Where he's about to drop Palpatine. Yeah, originally he just did it quietly, which was all we needed. But no,
that was so stupid.
Yeah,
but not as dumb, I think, as the editing out the older Darth Vader for the younger Darth Vader.
Well, yeah.
Hey, I'll be right back. I'm thirsty and I'm gonna go get a drink.
All right. So, did you know who Thanos was when you first saw him in Avengers?
No. All I know is that it was not freaking Brand from the Goonies. It was not Josh Brolin.
Oh, he was in the Goonies?
Yeah, he played Brand, the older brother.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
There's something new today. Oh, but yeah. Yeah, I at first, honestly, when I first saw him, I thought it was the Red Skull.
Well, I knew who Thanos was. Oddly enough, I knew who Thanos was only because there was this board game called Heroescape. It was more or less like Final Fantasy Tactics, except a board game. And the big gimmick behind it is that you would collect all these expansion sets and all that, and you would kind of play I don't know if you compared to D&D or something it's a tabletop role playing game kind of, but it plays Final Fantasy Tactics.
Okay.
And there was a Marvel set for Heroescape where Thanos was one of the pieces.
Nice.
That's where I learned of his existence. But yeah.
Yeah. I kind of wonder now who was the one who played Thanos during the post-credit scene. in Avengers. I don't think it was a really big name because
It
it was
wasn't.
like just a few seconds of screen time, so it wouldn't make sense to get a big name for that. But yeah, Josh Brolin, what I liked about his performance, he wasn't intentionally like over the top. He was very calm and collective as a villain. And what I liked about him was that during his defeat, a lot of movies like will do the cliche, the villain will yell no, but when he was defeated, Thanos pretty much just sat there and accepted it.
Yeah.
That I thought was a lot more effective.
Yeah. Well, then after Loki's defeat, it was the puny god line, another meme from that movie.
Beauty God.
Yeah.
But we get to Iron Man 3, which is weird, kind of weird because he has all these Iron Man suits running upperly, and then which he just and what do you guys think about the PSD version aspect of that movie?
The what? Sorry.
PTSD. I think he's trying to say.
Yeah. At first, I thought you said PSP. I'm like, the PlayStation Portable.
Where he was suffering from that most of the movie because of what happened to the Avengers.
It made sense, but they didn't really seem to follow up on it more in future movies afterwards.
I mean, I guess you could say Infinity War and Endgame had it a little bit, like especially at the ending of Infinity War.
Yeah, like most of the movie was him like doing that, and then I guess at the very end he had his heart surgery or something. He finally had a heart surgery where he removed the shrapnel, and he doesn't just need the thing to be in his heart anymore, just part of the Iron Man suit. I don't know why he didn't have the surgery earlier.
Yeah, you're talking about that like the glowing piece he has on his chest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They removed that in Iron Man 3, right?
Yeah.
And then he had it back in all of the movies afterwards. So I don't think I remember them explaining how he got it back.
I don't think they did.
So that's just lazy writing. It's like, okay, so that creates a plot hole then. So how did he get it back?
The world may never know. But I did like the end of that movie where we had a crossover at the end with Mark Ruffalo, where he's like, "I'm not that kind of doctor." You remember that one at the very end?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. It's like he was laying on the whole time, telling him the story the whole time on his couch. It's like, I'm not a psychologist here, Tony. But yeah, then we get to the what people call the Bad Thor movie, The Dark World.
I remember seeing that in theaters, and I specifically remember a friend of mine trolling me by claiming Thor dies in it. He doesn't.
I was going to see it in theaters, but I didn't get around to it. I'm pretty glad that I didn't, because I heard it was really, really bad.
I actually have not seen it since originally seeing it in theaters, because
that was 9 years ago.
Like, the first one I saw in theaters was Avengers, and then I started seeing all of them in theaters all the way up to Infinity War, and after that I kind of dropped off MCU movies. Like, I didn't see Captain Marvel, I didn't even see Endgame in theaters.
So you didn't
see Endgame in theaters?
I saw it when it got on Disney Plus, but I did not see it in theaters.
So
Endgame was, oh man, that is one of my favorite movies in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Maybe I should have went to see it, but yeah, I didn't.
So you didn't see. So that means you probably didn't see the Wasp, the Ant-Man Wasp either.
Oh, I did. I think I did Ant-Man and the Wasp. That was the last one I saw, and then I didn't see any more MCU stuff until Spider-Man Far From Home, and then Spider-Man No Way Home. Those are the only two.
I think I remember the Wasp movie the most because it was I I paid. I went to whenever I went. Usually, I usually if I could, I saw the 3D movie sometimes. I forget it was Ant-Man or Ant-Man and Wasp, but unfortunately, I saw the 3D movie, and I was in that. I had this in the very. This was back. This is pre. But it might have been Ant-Man. This was pre. Uh, get your own seat thing. I think, or you get. Maybe it was part of it. Where the only two seats available were in the. Anyway, the only left were in the front, very front row. So
That oh, sorry to interrupt. That very same thing happened with me and my dad when we saw Black Panther. We had to go to the very front row, and we had to like recline like this. Like I can't do it in this chair, but we had to recline like this, like laying down, just so we could see the screen.
yeah.
So,
But
Yeah. So about Black Panther, do you two feel like that they made the right call to not recast him?
oh yeah, because he died. I don't know. Like how
I don't know either.
how are they gonna explain him away? Because of course they're not going to go the route of killing him off because that's going to be disrespectful. So it's like
It
how
will
are they
be,
going to explain it? It's like going to be the same thing with Paul Walker and Fast and Furious. Like they're going to it's like, oh yeah, he's still around. He's still around. We're not going to show you him, but he's still around.
I thought they would kill. Like who's the I was who did they get who's look at that who's the new Panther was that the guy he defeated in the
So
movie?
it's apparently like his sister, Tequila.
Her okay she's
Yeah, and that is how it was like in the comics.
Yeah, that's another thing. I like the comics. Everyone made a big deal. Some people, a lot of people made the big deal about. I think the Falcon or replacing Captain America, but I'm like, didn't they do that in the comics? Was that somebody else that replaced him in the comics?
Yeah, I think they did. Now that you mention that, I'm pretty certain that they did.
They're like, why is there a black Captain America now? Like, but I'm like, they did it in the comics years ago. What's the big deal?
Yeah, and and it also was even in the comics about how, yeah, it was in the comics like with the Iron Spider suit. Excuse me, and yeah, there's been other things too, but yeah, and
so oh yeah, then like I said, the fake Thor thing. Yeah, I think at that time we learned about we're starting to learn more about the and Dark World, more about the Infinity Stones. I think at the time that I'm not sure we knew or not that Thor's that Loki's scepter was also had a stone in it until late, like maybe until Ultron. But and then did Guardians of the Galaxy come next before
I think
Ultron?
yeah, because we talked about Winter Soldier earlier. Because Winter Soldier was after Thor: Dark World, but then Guardians of the Galaxy I think was right after that. So
yeah, did you guys know about that before? I actually never heard of them before.
If you can believe it, yes, I did. Only because Rocket was a playable character in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which came out before.
oh yeah, now we're on Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I wish that I would have seen that in theaters, but yeah, and that too was a big risk for Marvel to do because no one ever heard of Guardians of the Galaxy at that time.
Like, it's not like they weren't there, because like I said, Rocket was playable in Marvel vs. Capcom, and they did make an appearance on Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, like the animated series, like in the early 2010s.
Yeah, but
but they were not well known until the movie.
Yeah, when I say not well known, I mean as far as like say, like the general public and the mainstream audience. I mean, they had no idea who any of them were. I mean, I had no idea who any of them were, but now because of the movie, everybody knows them.
And plus, he also made an appearance in your Jurassic Park series later on.
Oh yeah, and they became really well known to the public because of the movie, to the point when where the X-Men were excluded from Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, a Marvel executive trying to deter criticism made the bold claim that people know the Guardians more than they know the X-Men.
Really?
Really, that was one of their defenses, and spoiler, it didn't work.
Yeah, even I like I've known the X-Men ever since the '90s cartoon.
Like the X-Men movies are like some of the biggest non-Marvel studio movies. I mean, they're done now, and they're gonna put the X-Men in the MCU now. But yeah,
it's too bad. It's probably gonna be a whole new cast though, because unless they tie in somehow.
Except for Deadpool, like I hear they're allowing Ryan Reynolds to stay as Deadpool.
Because I would have loved to have Patrick Stewart as Xavier in the new movies.
And Hugh Jackman said he would have loved to get the chance to fight Hulk. But I mean, I really don't want to get into spoilers for No Way Home if you don't want me to.
Once we get to it, we can. But
yeah, but I mean, but then again, the trailers make it clear there's the multiverse. So
yeah, and
I mean,
but yeah, even before the movie came out, I definitely thought that. Okay, I'm not gonna say it now because it's a spoiler.
Well, I guess we'll decide later. But yeah, like basically,
Vandalia, have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it the Saturday it came, Tuesday the week it came out.
Okay, and you have seen it too, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I can talk about this then. So
yeah, but wait, not yet. Wait till we get closer to the thing.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, so like I was just bringing that up because of the whole multiverse thing. Maybe never say never to non-Deadpool X-Men actors making some kind of appearance. But yeah,
we were talking about another
and even with Hugh, but Hugh Jackman made it very clear he's not coming
he's
back.
Done. Yeah.
It's him, and I also wanted to see Patrick Stewart as Xavier again in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but probably not going to play him either. Probably be a whole new cast of characters. That they were doing
except for Deadpool, but yeah.
But yeah, so then I think after Guardians of the Galaxy, was that when Ultron was next?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Ultron. So, I think I remember Ultron from. I think I remember Ultron. Sounds familiar when I first saw him. I'm not really sure now, but was that almost like a Terminator side plot too?
Well, Ultron I know has a completely different origin story in the movie compared to like the comics and like elsewhere, because the movie shows him being made by Iron Man.
Yeah,
in most other versions of the character, it's Hank Pym, the original Ant-Man, who creates him. But they didn't but there was no Hank Pym yet, so they had to change.
So yeah, so that makes sense. Simba sit.
Oh, look at that.
Simba sit. There you go. Good boy. Good boy. Right. One more, Simba. Sit. Good dog. No more treats.
Like.
Sorry, Simba. Sorry, Simba.
You tempted me like treats. More tricks. I'll do more tricks. More treats.
One of the ideas I had for Halloween is, every year Simba and I do like a duo Halloween costume. One of the ideas that I had, it's like he could have it be Marvel themed. I thought maybe he could go as Rocket and I could go as Star-Lord.
Oh, I think you were gonna say Groot for a second.
I guess he could do Groot.
No, I meant him as Rocket. You as Groot, since they were a pair.
No, that's what I think that's what he got. Yeah, that's what he got from it.
But yeah, and there's a lot of combos that I could do. Like maybe he could be Winter Soldier and I could be Captain America. But
back to the cast of the guy in Star-Lord. For a long time, I didn't recognize him because it's been years and totally different. But I used to watch Chris Pratt in a series in the early 2000s when I was.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I just forgot its name.
Everwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to love that show. And going on to the end, I hated the fact they ended it after three. I mean, the reason they ended 3 seasons, but they could have another season, and I hated the fact that instead of going. That show that died when when WB became CW, but I hate the fact that it ended after it ended after 3 seasons, but they gave Seventh Heaven like a 12th season or 11th season. Was I loved that show when it was first on, but after 12 seasons, sometimes shows must have to die. Sometimes.
And where did he go? Where did Schnick go?
Maybe the bathroom or something.
Maybe, yeah.
He put his lens cap on his camera, but yeah. I hate that when the shows die. Some shows die prematurely. Other shows just keep on going. When really, you ever watch Seventh Heaven?
I've heard of
it,
it,
but I've never seen it.
It was like a religious family show, which I thought it was awesome at the time, but it just went on too long. But anyways, that's how I talk Chris Pratt from. Anyways, so yeah, Ultron.
And I'm not having you knock over my art.
Probably the big thing I remember with Age of Ultron is how there were competing versions of the character Quicksilver.
Oh yeah.
I remember that. It was because at 20th Century Fox still owned the rights to
the whole reason why there were two Quicksilvers was because 20th Century had the X-Men, but through a loophole because of the fact that Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch were also members of the Avengers in the comics, that meant Marvel Studios had access to them too. All they had to do was kind of cut all their ties to the X-Men, they weren't mutants or anything like that.
It's too bad because now with X-Men coming to the
MCU,
they could have Magneto still be their father.
Yeah, and not to mention between the two of them, the X-Men version and the Avengers version, people actually preferred the X-Men version.
I can see why, because Aaron Taylor Johnson, I thought he did fine, but just the X-Men one was so much more memorable.
Yeah, and this is jumping ahead a little bit, but there is a Disney Plus series called WandaVision set after the events of Avengers Endgame.
I have watched it.
Yeah, so I won't say nothing about it then, but yeah, it's something interesting happens there.
Yeah. But yeah, they mentioned stuff like that. I think they mentioned it. Something they mentioned a little bit of that in the end of the Spider-Man trailer, but
yeah, a lot of people will say that Scarlett Johansson is the hottest girl in the MCU, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's Elizabeth Olsen. Man, she is drop dead gorgeous.
That's
she is really hot. A lot of people say it's Scarlett Johansson. I mean, she is hot, but in my opinion, I think Elizabeth Olsen's a little bit hotter. I mean, if that's even a word, or more hot.
Next episode, grammar in MCU.
Yeah, grammar in MCU. Man, I mean, Elizabeth Olsen, man, she is just so drop dead gorgeous.
But yeah, is the plot of I never saw the older Ultron things, but is Ultron kind of like Skynet Terminator, or is that totally something different?
I'm not sure. I think possibly, maybe.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah. So, yeah, I remember the trailer doing that Pinocchio song in the trailer.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. It was like the pulling the strings song.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
I got no strings on me.
I will say that Ultron, most versions of Ultron don't have that quirky character to him. He's more like a generic android.
And so, and then did Ultron create Vision in the comics, or was that?
I think he did. Yes, he did.
Oh, but yeah. So Eric would know more dinosaurs and stuff, no more than you do, but
Yeah.
the plot that the Ultron had that bring like the city crushing down on Earth, like the dinosaurs, the comic destroyed the dinosaur thing.
And you're talking about Avengers: Age of Ultron?
Yeah.
I've only seen that movie once in theaters. I vaguely remember it. I don't remember anything about an asteroid in that movie.
Well, he was an asteroid. Ultron literally raised the entire city up, rocks and all, through thrusters, whatever, robotic skills, whatever, and he was going to drop the city on the Earth to destroy it, to cause a mass extinction event. Because apparently, at least in Ultron's mind, the greatest threat to humanity is humanity. So, wipe humanity off, the Earth will be fine.
I mean, that does have some layers of truth to it. I mean, humans have caused a lot of pollution. Humans kill other humans. Humans litter. So it has a little bit of layer of truth to it. And yeah, but I don't remember that at all in Age of Ultron. I mean, I haven't seen it since 2015. So
okay, you remember this? I think that was the whole point later on of the piece of that's the town that Ultron was about to drop on the Earth was literally the name of the pact or accord that they signed in the Civil War, the Sokovia Accords.
Yeah, I don't remember that,
but like okay. So, but anyways, like he I don't know how he did it. He raised the city up in the air, kind of, and across it down, like kind of like the asteroid destroyed the dinosaurs, to wipe out the Earth. So,
yeah, that is an interesting idea because I think that the filmmakers were probably going to trying to go with the thing about history repeats itself, and asteroid's going to come in and wipe out almost an entire population of particular organisms. But yeah, but the thing is, humans nowadays are much better, well adapted at like predicting, asteroids hitting, like while the dinosaurs had no capacity of that. But yeah, Ultron though doing that is interesting. But yeah, Ultron I think is powerful enough where like the average person probably couldn't stop him. Scientists probably couldn't stop him. But yeah, the Avengers definitely could though.
Yeah,
and I'm sure that they did in the movie, but I haven't seen it in a long time.
Which brings me into a thing about if Ultron hadn't become evil and corrupted his memory or whatever, do you think he was a chance against Thanos if he had come on Earth and Ultron was still around?
Ultron going up against Thanos?
Yeah.
I can see it. I can see it, yeah, but I still think that Thanos would win, though.
Because
Thanos was strong enough where in Infinity War he defeated Hulk.
Yeah, but yet at the time he also had the Power Stone too. That time, I don't know if that made a difference or not. If he'd been strong enough without the Infinity the Power Stone or not against Hulk.
Yeah, but yeah.
Anyway, did Ant-Man come next, or was that Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Yeah, I've never seen Ant-Man, and I haven't seen Ant-Man and...
It was Ant-Man next.
Okay. Well, then I guess let's get past. We talk. You mind if we talk about it, or you want to avoid spoilers?
I want to avoid spoilers, please.
Okay.
All right. Well, yeah, it was. Okay. I was like to stick real fast. What do you think of that one scene where the two met on the roof?
Which movie is this?
Ant-Man.
Met on the roof.
Yeah, I won't talk too much about it, but
I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember much from the first Ant-Man because it's been a while since I've seen it.
I guess that's me again, where my good memory, with my memory. As Nick knows this, my memory sometimes it remembers lots of stuff, even if it shouldn't.
Normally, that's me, not for Marvel movies, apparently.
But yeah, so Guardians of the Galaxy 2, can we talk about that?
Yeah.
I think we're skipping past a couple of movies, though.
I think we did. I
don't think we talked about Civil War in full, and there's also
Civil War, of course,
and there's Doctor Strange.
I wasn't sure where they were in the lineup.
Doctor Strange came after Ant-Man.
So it was probably Doctor Strange and then Civil War.
Yeah, no, wait. Civil War came out earlier that year, so yeah.
Oh, so no, it would be Civil War first, then Doctor Strange.
Yeah, Civil War, like I said, we're talking about a little bit earlier, they built up the thing, and that was where they had Spider-Man's first appearance.
Yeah, that
was a really big deal.
Especially because that was right off the heels of Amazing Spider-Man 2 failing, and many people were wondering, like, where was Sony going to go? But many people were surprised to see that Sony decided they were willing to share the character.
They definitely made the right call, and you pretty much can thank Kevin Feige for that, because Sony came to him for help, saying, okay, Amazing Spider-Man 2 underperformed. We need your help. What should we do? And then that was when he said, okay, how about you have Spider-Man join the MCU? And I heard Amy Pascal from Sony actually got mad at him and threw a sandwich at him.
Okay.
And then afterwards she was like, you know what? He is right. I mean, the MCU is doing extremely well. So then that was when they canceled Amazing Spider-Man 3, and instead they had Spider-Man and Civil War. And I will never forget all of the hype and, all of the excitement when that was first announced. And people were like, okay, it is kind of redundant. We have to get another Spider-Man reboot. We don't want to see Uncle Ben again. And I saw this meme on Facebook. It was really funny. It was Uncle Ben posting a tweet saying, stop rebooting Spider-Man. I'm tired of getting shot.
But yeah,
I mean, sorry to interrupt, but in fairness, in the movie itself, we did avoid that because we see him as already being established.
That's what I was going to say. They skipped the entire sequence of him gaining his powers, and he's already a hero at that point.
Which was wise. It was wise. It was because it was just off the heels of Amazing Spider-Man 2, and nobody wanted to sit through the origin again, because that was a problem with the Amazing Spider-Man 1. It was too soon after the Raimi trilogy, and having to sit through the origin again. I remember watching that in theaters, and I'm like, this feels so been there, done that.
So, what do you guys think of? I'm not sure if people made a big deal about it or not. I think some people might have of having a younger Aunt May.
I don't know. That was fine because Spider-Man himself was much younger he looked much younger compared to the other two.
But yeah.
Oh, by the way, interesting little fun fact. In Iron Man 2, there is a scene where Iron Man's he's fighting somebody, I think at a theme park or a fair. One of the enemies Iron Man destroys goes after a kid who's wearing an Iron Man mask and pretends to blast him, and Iron Man comes in and saves him. They later retconned that kid to be a young Peter Parker. They did.
Yeah. They did, They did as soon as Civil War came out. And I said that Elizabeth Olsen was pretty hot. Marissa Tomei, who's the new Aunt May, she's pretty gorgeous too. And
she's aged pretty gracefully.
She has. And the funny thing is, I remember there was backlash about her being Aunt May because people were saying that she was too hot to be Aunt May. And I read a comment that said, okay, I shouldn't have a boner for Aunt May.
Yeah, usually she's old, like old lady in the cartoons and the
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because each version of Aunt May progressively made her younger. Like Rosemary Harris in the Raimi trilogy, like she's like what you would think of most people would think of Aunt May.
And
Then the Mark Webb movies had Sally. I think her name was Sally Fields. I think.
Yes. Sally Fields,
Like she's kind of old, but she looks noticeably younger. And then we have Marissa Tomei, where she is 50 years old, but she looks really damn good for 50.
She does. I mean, she looks really good for being in her 50s.
But yeah, I'll get back to the Civil War. Spider-Man had two lines that I thought was really funny at the time. One was when they were fighting giant Ant-Man, and they're like,
that was funny.
Remember that really old movie,
Empire Strikes Back, when they're fighting those giant thingies?
Yeah, old movie. like wow, shows his age. That classic movie, you know.
I mean, they make it pretty clear he's a nerd who likes like that kind of stuff.
But yeah, and Tom Holland stole the entire show in that movie, and people were complaining, saying that he looks too young. But it makes sense. Peter Parker is in high school. It makes sense. Yeah. And people were saying, Spider Boy, but it made perfect sense for him because he is supposed to be in high school when he starts off, and I'm really glad they finally did that.
And also, I also like the line between Spider-Man and Captain America. They're like, "Where are you from? Queens. I'm Brooklyn." both New Yorkers. I guess he recognizes that.
By the way, that is comic accurate, I believe. Spider-Man really is from Queens.
And I also liked that scene where he's fighting the Winter Soldier and he goes, "You have a metal arm? That is awesome, dude."
That's showing this thing. But yeah, and then that was also the introduction of
Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So I guess that's next, right? Black Panther, or was that going to?
No, Doctor Strange.
We need to get to Doctor Strange.
Oh, okay, Doctor Strange.
I liked it when I first saw it, but I feel like it was one of those movies where I only needed to watch it once. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's like a one and done kind of.
Funny thing, I saw it in theaters twice. Because I had to.
Yeah.
Like I was kind of roped into it.
Yeah, that's the complete opposite of my view of it.
Well, no, it wasn't by choice. That's what I was trying to get at.
Oh.
Like, I saw it once, and then another group is like, yo, we're going to see Doctor Strange. Come with us. And I had to see it a second time. So.
Oh, okay. Sorry for misunderstanding you.
Yeah, like, it was definitely fine the first time through, but it was kind of a slog the second time.
Oh, trust me. I completely understand, because back when the movie I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry came out, the first time I saw it was with my family. I thought it was hilarious. The second time was not long after. I don't remember who I saw with the second time. I'm like, okay, this is starting to feel sluggish now. I've already seen it. The third time was literally the day afterwards. Me and my friend Mike, we were trying to debate on what movie to go see. I wanted to see something else. I don't remember what. He wanted to see I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry. I'm like, I just saw that the day before. So here's what we did. Game of rock, paper, scissors. If I won, we'll see the movie I want. But if he won, we'll see Chuck and Larry.
He won.
Mm-hmm. So I'm like, ugh. And all the jokes, it just wasn't funny anymore. And that's why I haven't watched it ever since then, because after that third time, I'm like, okay, I am done with this movie.
But like that's a good point. Even if you do like if you do like a movie and like to see it multiple times, if you see it multiple times, like in a week period, it burns you out. Even if it's a good movie, like maybe you see it a year or 2 or 3 years later, you're like, that's I really like the movie, but
it's
in 1 week, like.
It's not even just with movies, like games and shows can do that too. Like I played the hell out of the Resident Evil 2 remake when it came out. I did like 5 playthroughs of it like in the course of a couple of months. Then I dropped off it hard. I haven't played it since.
Yeah, that's like with me
Yeah.
and my favorite movies. You know, The Lion King, the original, is one of my favorites. The last time I watched it though was at the zoo.
Yeah.
Back in 2018.
Yeah, kind of like another certain game burned you out because we played it constantly back in 2015.
Oh yeah, the KH games.
It burned you
Yeah,
out.
I've gotten a little bit back into, like, I don't play them. I haven't hardly played them since.
Yeah, I still gotta finish recording my chain memory thing.
Yeah, like I had there was a stint where I had Xbox Game Pass, and the Xbox versions of those games were actually on there, and I tried them again on there a little bit, but not too much. But yeah, that's besides the point.
But that's strange. The other thing, at the time I didn't realize that, but apparently I hear about it now. People making a big deal or something about the old woman in that movie for some reason.
Oh, you're talking about the ancient. Oh,
yeah.
What happened was the ancient one was depicted as like an Asian man in the comics. Well, they changed it to a woman and had it be a white woman. So they were making a big deal about, oh, whitewashing.
I didn't realize that was a thing until I knew about whitewashing, but that they were a big deal. People didn't like her in the movie until years later.
I liked her in the movie, like even back then. Like, if you're gonna change a character, at least make it not justify, but like make the character good.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was that big of a deal to some people apparently. So
people make a big deal about the strangest things sometimes.
Yeah, like back in 2015, I made a post on Facebook. It was a joke. How did I escape Iraq? I ran. And there was this guy who you used to be friends with. He took big offense to that joke. He was saying, "Oh, Eric, that joke's offensive. You must take it down." I'm like, there's nothing offensive about it. It's a clever joke.
But yeah, also like the Ghostbusters movies, like it wasn't a bad movie because they were women. It was a bad movie because it was a bad movie.
Yeah, that Ghostbusters female movie.
Yeah, it could have been a good movie. You know, it could have been a good movie with women or not, but it was just a bad movie.
It was a bad movie. Yeah, had nothing to do with that, and that's how it is for a lot of things. Like I don't know, it would be completely changing subjects, but yeah, like there's tons of things that they blame it on outside factors, but whatever.
But anyways, also, was that like also at the beginning of the movie, was that like a thing about texting and driving or talking to your cell phone and driving where he crashed his car and broke his hands?
That's what happened in the movie? I don't remember that.
Oh, he was on.
I remember he broke his hands, not that he was texting and driving.
Yeah, he was on like California, one of those windy curvy road things. It was raining. I guess I don't know if it was winter or not. It was really raining, very raining. He was on a windy road, and he was either on his cell phone or texting on his cell phone, and he.
Yeah, I don't remember him texting on the phone, but like if you're describing like a California road, well, California is the kind of place where landslides happen, and like when you said rain, I was like, well, rain can cause like erosion and landslides. I'm thinking maybe that's how it. I don't remember how it happened in the movie, but yeah.
Yeah, again, here comes my memory of 10-year-old movies or 5-year-old movies at this point.
I mean, there's 2 specific scenes in Doctor Strange I remember. One of them's obviously Dormammu, I've come to bargain, and the other is a smaller scene where he's like fighting he's fighting like the villain of the movie, and at one point he pulls out like this chalice looking thing. He points at the guy. He's like, "Aha!" And then the guy like looks threatened at first, but he's like, "You don't know how to use that, do you?" And Doctor Strange is just,
But yeah, so then I think it was Spider-Man Homecoming that came out after.
Yes, but
Yeah.
wait. Yeah, I think it was Homecoming and then Guardians 2.
Yeah, but Homecoming is me and Stick about Homecoming because me and him downloaded and we watched it through our over Skype. Remember that?
I haven't
Yeah,
watched
we did
it
watch it
since
that
the
one
theater,
time.
but yeah,
A while ago.
I definitely thought that Michael Keaton stole the whole show. I mean, he was so intimidating,
Yep.
and that plot twist, like he actually was dating his daughter.
Uh-huh.
That is one of the best plot twists I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Yep.
I like the.
I did not see that coming.
Oh yeah, that's cool. But I like the. I really like the other plot. I like the other plot twist more personally. Where at the very end, she's like, "My friends call me MJ."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
like,
she's not Mary Jane though. It's Michelle Jones. But
yeah, but
Oh, but here's the thing. We all saw No Way Home. We actually found out that I think her parents are separated, and I think her dad's last name is Watson.
yeah.
oh, so
So she basically is the MCU Mary Jane, just with a different name.
So she's still
Pretty
MJ
much,
Watson. Yeah. But still, that was my favorite thing. Like all of a sudden, she this girl here and there. You know, like okay, she's cool. All of a sudden, my friends call me MJ. I'm like, ding.
Yeah.
You know that's happening in the future. But oh yeah, so I like the him learning that lesson. You know, and he's like, and Iron Man took away his suit. You know, it's like you're not even here. He's like, I'm here now. The suit opens up. Like, oh, you're here. You are
I
here.
definitely do like Peter Parker's character arc though, about him getting the suit back.
Yeah.
I definitely did like that, and to me, maybe this is the direction they were going. It felt like a John Hughes movie.
Well, especially because of the soundtrack choices and everything.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a John Hughes movie.
This is not really connected, but like the song that plays in Homecoming, like the one that goes, "Hey, oh, let's go." Yeah, thing about that is, Van Daly doesn't know this, but a big game series I got really into, like in the years since, is the Tony Hawk series.
Okay,
And Pro
hey
Skater.
guys, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think my dog has to go out, so I'll be right back.
Okay.
So
my dogs have to go soon too.
Okay.
I'll be.
Yeah.
Right back.
So you
no.
Okay, because you can take the dog bathroom break when he comes back, so we're not dead air.
When he gets back, I'll take my dogs.
So you're just Tony Hawk.
Yeah, the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series. Only reason I bring that up is because Pro Skater 3 would play that song a lot. Like, it's part of the game's soundtrack. So, like, anytime it played, I'm like, oh, it's the Spider-Man Homecoming song.
Yeah, and apparently, I read research now. Apparently, his other friend Ned is a hobgoblin in other series.
Yeah, I think so. Also, the thing about Ned is that they borrowed a lot of his character from Miles Morales' best friend.
Yeah, and also apparently there's no apparently there's no Oscorp in this universe.
Yeah, No Way Home revealed there is no Oscorp as far as we're aware.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think. So, what do you think of? Did you ever watch the How It Should End series?
I used to, but I dropped off of them years ago. Like, I haven't seen them.
But like the one thing I remember that movie thing where in the movie he comes all the way up to the roof to cap the elevator, and the thing is he goes the bottom catches it from the bottom. But yes, that's so. So the Vulture that was the original Batman from the 80s.
The original 1989 Batman, and now. Another thing separate, he's actually playing Batman again in the upcoming Flash movie, even though there's people are really starting to hate that Flash movie because of some leaks. So,
Yeah, I remember. Also, the thing I think they recorded that later. At first, they said it was 8 years or something from the happened 8 years or something from end of Avengers. Now it's like 4 or 3 years or something.
Oh yeah, I think there was like confusion regarding how many years it was on that.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned you watched the '90s Spider-Man cartoon, and I think in that one, Vulture was an old guy, but he's a lot younger in this.
Oh yeah, the '90s Spider-Man. Like he started as an old guy. He was trying to regain his youth, and what happened was ultimately like so Vulture was old, and like in season 4, there was like one of the crime bosses, Silvermane, was like he was trying to make himself young too, but what happened was he got like the youth thing, and it kept de-aging him until he was a baby. And one sec. Okay, so then there's an episode where Silvermane, as a baby, is trying to like become a young adult again, and like they're basically stealing Spider-Man's youth and transferring it to him. Like, I guess his spider powers was gonna help with that. Well, at the last second, the Vulture freaking switched the machine so that the youth goes into him instead of Silvermane and Silver. No, wait. No, the Vulture traded his old age for the young age that Silvermane wanted, so Silvermane becomes an old man again while the Vulture becomes young.
Okay, I forget. I remember wrong. The Vulture didn't he like for a while? Was he between old and young for?
I think he was going between old and young and old and young. Yes.
Yeah.
And like after that, he got his youth back permanently, and then he joined up with in season 5. He joined up with the Sinister Six, or as the show called it, the Insidious Six.
Oh yeah, that thing that was like a revolving door thing.
Yeah.
But but what do you think of that plot point of them gathering old technology and harvesting it for themselves? Like first after the Avengers, then they like started gathering more technology. They secretly kill it from cleanup sites.
Yeah, in fact, not to mention, one reason why people like the Vultures because he has a relatable motive. Basically, he was screwed out of a cleanup job for no good reason, and he just wanted the payback.
And wasn't there a very short appearance of the Shocker in that movie for a few minutes? Was that the Shocker that got killed?
I think that, well, at one point we get Mac Gargan, who becomes the Scorpion, but then I think there's also the Shocker at one point.
Oh yeah, I know Mac. I know the Scorpion appeared. I know if he appeared earlier in the movie. But I know he appeared in the prison scene at the end.
He did appear. He did appear earlier in the movie, and then he was also in the prison scene. One thing I'm actually really upset about is that so far they have not shown Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin from the Daredevil series.
Alrighty, I took him out, and so if you want to take your dog out now, you.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go take him, but to wrap up what I was saying before you had to go, basically the only connection I was making to the Homecoming song was that Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 freaking played that song all the time.
I haven't played that game in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's of the 3 classic games, because Pro Skater 4 shifted to like what the Underground games would do, like the more open world kind of thing.
Yeah.
But Pro Skater 3 is definitely the hardest of the original 3. At least from my experience anyway, because the point scores you need are like ridiculously high. But yeah, they would always play like, hey, oh, let's go, like as part of the soundtrack. All right, but I'm gonna go take the dogs now. So you can. We didn't go on any movies. Like we kind of sidetracked into like the '90s Spider-Man, like connecting it to Homecoming because of the Vulture.
Yeah. And
you can go now. Yeah, we're talking about the Vulture's reason for being a criminal because he got mad because he got fired.
40 Stark or something like that.
What? Yeah, after the Avengers fought, he was going to clean up the thing, but then they like, no, it's a government thing now. Like, so he started stealing technology because of that. And he said we're talking about how he had more of he had a more of an actual good backstory, being a villain story.
Mhm.
Besides this, I'm gonna take a verse now.
So interesting about that, Vulture, when they were trying to do Spider-Man 4, one of the villains they tossed around actually was the Vulture. Is going to be played by John Malkovich. That would have been really good casting. But yeah, and so, so I feel like that. So yeah, I mean, it was more accurate in the comics that his wings were more like actual, like Vulture wings. But for this, it makes sense for this continuity, though. Like that would be like more robotic. But yeah, and Michael Keaton was not my first choice, but man, I mean, he was one of the. He did a really good job being so intimidating about it. I feel like that he would be one of those people. Say if you're dating somebody and then you meet their dad and their dad's really intimidating you.
Oh yeah,
Michael Keaton nailed that part. And what's really interesting is that Michael Keaton played Birdman and the Vulture, and both of those are like comic book characters where they're winged creatures.
and
He played
yeah,
Batman.
yeah, Batman, Birdman, both like he's all about the wings.
Yeah, it's so interesting, isn't it? It's such an interesting connection. But yeah,
Also, we also talked about. Did you ever watch the How It Should Have Ended series on YouTube?
what? Sorry.
How It Should Have Ended on
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah.
We were talking about that, and different scenes. Like one where in the movie he comes up on the roof to catch the elevator, and that series he goes up the bottom.
But yeah, I did enjoy Homecoming. I still won't say it's my favorite Spider-Man movie. Not that it's bad, it's just not my favorite. But yeah, I still feel like that Spider-Verse Into the Spider-Verse is the best Spider-Man movie we have ever had.
Yeah,
And a lot of people are going to agree for really good reasons.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I heard about that. I still gotta see that movie.
You haven't seen it?
No, I think I forget. When did it come out again?
Spider-Verse came out 2018.
Oh, never mind. I didn't choose for that. I guess I thought maybe it was. I thought maybe it came out during the 2 years I didn't see any movies at all during the pandemic. But I guess I.
But yeah, and then then right after Homecoming was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yeah, what's came the other meme, the Baby Groot meme.
Yeah, the Baby Groot meme. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought that joke about Mary Poppins.
Yeah,
that was hilarious. But yeah, I definitely liked getting to know Star-Lord's father and knowing that, and then he ended up being the villain.
Yeah, did you? What was his name again? It was the. I think that name sounded familiar to me at the time, but I remember it now. Like he was a big guy, big villain in the in the Marvel's comics.
I don't remember to be honest with you, but yeah.
But also that one line that only line I remember most from that movie is the button line. Remember that at all?
That was in Guardians 2?
Yeah, it's like okay, like you flip the switch and then you push this button. Don't push this button. Repeat after me, like I am Groot.
Oh yeah,
no,
that was hilarious.
Not that.
I remember now. That was hilarious. But yeah, and wasn't there a joke like where Rocket was making fun of somebody with how they looked?
Oh yeah, Taser Face or something like that.
Yeah, Taser Face.
The guy that took over the crew of the guy. It's like,
oh, that was so funny. But yeah, and then notice how comic book movies when The Dark Knight came out, all of them were super dark and serious. But then once the Marvel movies became popular. I mean, there were still some dark elements, but they definitely started to be a lot more lighter toned.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, and
But,
then
oh yeah. Also,
afterwards it was Thor
yeah,
Ragnarok.
before we get that, Ravaz, also the other thing where he was a little group was getting all the different things, from that guy, it's like no bigger, like no redder, like
Yeah.
he's like that's not a hat. He's like good. I think it's stupid as a hat. He hates hats like that. But yeah, Ragnarok. I think Ragnarok was. Oh no! Do we talk about? No, did we talk about Black Panther already, or you skip it?
Black Panther came out after Thor Ragnarok.
Okay. Yeah, Ragnarok, where he comes out and we find out where Hulk's been this whole time.
Oh yeah, I thought that was cool because people had questions like, okay, where has Hulk been during all the events of all these movies? And we finally got the answer. But yeah, I've heard people say that that's the closest we've ever gotten to like a Planet Hulk movie, and that might be the closest we ever will get.
And again, it comes another cameo from your Jurassic Park series.
Oh yeah, Jeff Goldblum. I loved that. But yeah, and Thor Ragnarok, it definitely was a lot lighter toned than the other Thor movies. Yeah, I saw that in theaters with my dad. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. Was Thor's sister? Do you know if Thor's sister was the thing in the comics or not, or is that Hela?
Probably.
Yeah, but yeah. Like, by the way, you have an older. By the way, I'm dying now. You have an older sister. Bye.
But yeah. Oh yeah. So I think that might be Anthony Hopkins' last time ever being in the MCU because man, Anthony Hopkins is getting really old now. I mean, the guy's like what, 90? So yeah, that might be our last time ever seeing him in the MCU.
Speaking of people dying, it's a meme now, but the Betty White thing that died a few weeks ago, right before New Year or something. It's like almost like that close to being 100.
Yeah, she was so close to her 100th birthday. She was super close.
I knew I'll talk again. Some people are saying apparently she got the booster shot and she died because of that.
No, she just died from old age.
I know, it's like she's 100, like.
But yeah, so yeah, then after Thor Ragnarok, then it was Black Panther, and that one was a big deal because people were saying, "Oh, it's the first black superhero movie." I'm like, no, there was Blade. But yeah, it was just the first one to be really mainstream. I mean,
yeah,
Blade was mainstream, but it was more of like a cult following kind of thing. While Black Panther really was the first super mainstream one.
Yeah, I like. Excuse me, because that also kind of went back in time a bit. Apparently, that happened right after Civil War, almost. So like we're back in time a little bit, and apparently, I guess he got his powers too early or something. I guess he got his powers right after his dad died, but he still had to do the official power ceremony or something when he came back home.
But yeah, I don't really remember, but yeah.
Yeah, and then apparently the villain in that movie was his first cousin.
In the first Black Panther?
Yeah.
I don't remember anything about that.
Really? Well, like, yeah, the flashback happened, and the guy the first king that died in Civil War came back, and apparently the guy he killed was his younger brother, and he had a kid. He had a kid, so that didn't know he died or something. He got abandoned there, so they were technically cousins.
Interesting. But yeah, what did you think of? But yeah, what did you think of Black Panther?
I liked it. I liked it how like they I like the what's the word, secrecy. From the outside it looks like a small like normal African, like a little African village, like people think you're at Blackwater, but really it's a big technology. It's like a big technical breakthrough city. All this technology and stuff.
Yeah. Maybe it's just me, but I noticed a lot of really similar plot points to the Lion King when I was watching Black Panther. The fact that he saw his father as a ghost, his father died.
Oh yeah.
The son gets dethroned and then gets banished, and then he comes back to take back the throne, fighting against a relative, who took over the throne. I mean,
yeah,
I know it's a lot of parallels to the Lion King.
But again, I guess a little bit. Again, we have like that villain wasn't a complete, evil to be evil sake. They had layers. The villain had layers. He wanted to use the what's it called? Verbium. How do you pronounce that metal?
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I just forgot its name.
God, I keep on thinking of that metal in the Avatar movie, but
okay.
But yeah,
Hi there.
I am back, and here is the original dog.
just
proof that he's still alive, still doing good.
Yep, and here's Simba.
Simba meet original
look.
baby.
The original baby.
Oh, and Simba's like, oh, where? Simba, look, Simba.
I am shocked at how long he directly looked at the camera.
Simba, yeah, I am too. Hey, Simba, look. Simba.
Now he's looking away.
Simba.
Boy.
Oh,
I'm having a look at the screen.
So spoiled.
They're friends already.
Oh yes, and yet they're so far away.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so we were talking about Black Panther, and then I felt like that there was a lot of parallels to the Lion King in it.
Yeah, definitely.
He sees his father as a ghost, and he gets banished from the kingdom, comes back to take back the throne, and his relative took over the throne. But yeah, I noticed a lot of parallels to the Lion King, and I'm not the only one.
Yeah, and also we're talking about how, again, with him, like a Vulture, it's the villain has a good backstory, not just being evil for evil's sake.
Yeah, because see, that was a common criticism of the MCU, that a lot of their movie villains were just not good until like recent years, where they've become a lot better, like Vulture, Killmonger, Thanos, obviously.
Yeah, and that was a problem that I had with Red Skull in the first Captain America. I just thought that, Simba, you're actually gonna get on my lap? Okay.
Oh.
But yeah, Red Skull, I thought it was such a wasted opportunity, because Red Skull in the comics actually was pretty cool. But in the first movie, I just thought that he was lame.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a Nazi, worship me.
Hi, Simba. Always have to be the center of attention.
But yeah, Nick, you know the name of that metal? We're trying to pronounce it earlier. Viridium.
I think I know what you're talking about. I need to look at the name.
Okay.
I think you might be thinking. Let me make sure. Because I think I know what you're talking about. Like, like the rare metal that Wakanda has.
Yeah. That.
Yeah. Hang on. Where?
The Vibranium.
Vibranium. I thought that was it, but yeah, Vibranium.
Thank you, Dominant Pals.
Yogi.
But yeah, so apparently apparently I guess a meteor crashed there, and it's very is exclusive to that thing. And apparently they have not only very, I guess they're very technological advanced for that city, even though it has a force.
Yeah, that's pretty much the one reason why.
Yeah, so but after Black Panther, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was in Infinity War.
I think it was Infinity War after Black Panther, and then it was Ant-Man and the Wasp.
And yeah, Infinity War. I thought Infinity War was a lot better than Age of Ultron, to be honest.
Yeah. It's funny because when I first saw Infinity War, what I told everybody was that, but what I told my friends, what I thought about it is that if I was a lot younger, I would have thought it was the best thing ever, because this is a strange thing. When I was younger, I had always wanted to see a movie where the villain won.
Well, you kind of did see that in The Dark Knight Rises, though. I mean, the villain won halfway through, but then he lost at the end. So
well, yeah, but what I'm talking about is like the villain just wins. End of story. That's it.
But Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, I mean, was that never happens.
Dark Knight Rises. I forget. Was that the Joker one or the?
No, Dark Knight Rises was the one with Bane.
Because technically, didn't the
yeah, in the original Dark Knight, the Joker kind of won, even though he was beaten, but he succeeded in corrupting Harvey Dent.
And Batman became a exile for years after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joker pretty much won in that movie too.
Well, yeah, but we're talking like total victory. Like the heroes did not win anything at all. Like, like the next movie fixed it all up, but yeah, freaking Infinity War ends with Thanos. Like,
he did win.
Yeah, he, like, no doubt about it. Like, he completely won.
I mean, the fact that he beat the Hulk during the beginning, and now that right there was like an oh crap moment.
Yeah,
like that he beat the Hulk.
Then they get back to Earth. But that reminds me of another thing that we glanced over in Ultron, that reunion between Bruce Banner and Natasha. They are dating kind of Ultron, and he is left. That little small reunion thing, like hi, I'm back. Like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, Infinity War, like all those other movies, pretty much were build up to that and Avengers Endgame, which is why that Infinity War and Avengers Endgame made so much money. And I feel like that maybe Infinity War was better than Age of Ultron because the director Joss Whedon at that point said he was starting to feel burnt out with Age of Ultron. And the directors who took over, the same guys who did Winter Soldier and Civil War,
yeah,
those guys have made some of the best Marvel movies. Man, it shows with the box office. I mean, those two directors, Anthony Russo and I forget
Anthony and Joe Russo, they're brothers.
Yeah, I mean, those two have made some of the best Marvel and the highest grossing ones too. I mean, and it's so interesting because prior they made You, Me, and Dupree, like that Owen Wilson movie that no one really talks about anymore.
All I remember about that is the name, and even that I had to be reminded.
And also they brought back Spider-Man for this movie too.
Well, yeah, like main reason I really wanted to see Infinity War when it came out was, well, I wasn't quite burned out of Marvel stuff just yet, and I wanted them. That's like the movie where they brought together everybody from the movies. There was the main Avengers themselves. There was Spider-Man. There was Doctor Strange. There was Black Panther. There was the Guardians.
But
they were all there.
Yeah, and that was a really, really big deal to have that because, you know, it pretty much is why the first Avengers was a big hit all over again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was all that.
So what do you?
Hold up.
I think that. What do you think about uh Thanos' reason for wanting to destroy
Yeah, his
or
reason
help?
was because there was too much population, right?
Yeah, that was his reason in the movie. Apparently, in the comics, it was kind of a dumb reason. He did it because he wanted to impress somebody called Lady Death, or something like that.
Okay, then I can see why they changed it in the.
Yeah, that's literally the only reason. He wanted to impress a woman in the comics.
I was thinking, the snap thing. I think about later on. Like, was it destroyed half the life? Was that just humanoid life, or was that the animal life?
It was all life, like including like even as far down as bacteria. Like they confirmed that.
But I know, but
in the comics,
no, in the movie. In the movie,
again, like it's funny though, because the problem if he destroyed if he destroyed humanoid life, and stuff, then the animals and plants you could eat would still be abundant for everyone. But doing half and half, is that the same problem? Still the same.
I'm guessing I don't know if he meant like natural resources, like for fuel and like building things or anything like that. But I mean, granted, that's why freaking there's some failure in his logic there. But
yeah, I've heard that a lot of time too. That I forget they talk about the population and control, like the resources of Earth. People like I've seen people like say like, oh, the Earth's not populated at all, or everyone can fit in one city on Earth in Texas or something like that, or Florida. I think Kit Hovind made that joke before. I mean, one of his many things. You probably saw Eric.
Oh, Kent Hovind. So I know Vandalia knows who he is, but do you know who?
All I know is that he's a loony. That's really all I know.
He's a young Earth creationist who is still spouting out long debunked arguments like the Eka stones and whatnot. You do know what a young Earth creationist is, right?
Not really.
So it's somebody who takes the book of Genesis from the Bible.
Yeah.
Very literally,
literally.
With the 6 days of creation, they believe that those days are 6 literal 24-hour days and whatnot, and that the Earth is only 6,000 years old, which is in complete contrast with the
and dinosaurs are still alive, walking the Earth somewhere hidden.
And yeah, young Earth creationists believe humans and dinosaurs live side by side, which is contrary to what the evidence from science says, that dinosaurs lived millions of years before people did.
Yeah. Because in the grand scheme of things, people are not that old. Like in the absolute grand scheme of things.
Yeah. In the grand scan of deep time, humans have only been here for like 200,000 years, while the Earth is like 4.5 billion years old.
But definitely not 6,000 years old.
Yeah, definitely not 6,000 years
but
old.
Anyways,
yeah.
But it's one of the things he talked about population, and he apparently I forget which one it was. He said he's a circle. Everyone in the world can fit in this one city right here. It's like, yeah, maybe they can fit in the city, but they still don't have enough move and stuff, resources to live. Even though they can all fit in the city, that's not the problem of population control. It's about letting those people survive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why population just recently grew up the last 200 years, because before vaccines, and medicine and sanitation, people only live so long because they got lucky, I guess.
Yeah, people would die off quickly because of, I mean, in like the colonial days. From what I heard in class one day when I was in high school, at least according to one teacher, I'm not sure if this is actually the case, people of those days rarely bathed because there was the misconception that if you took your clothes off, you'd be exposing yourself to disease. And supposedly that was the reason why perfume was invented, to cover the stink.
And also,
interesting.
And people had lots of kids back then because they had to, because your kids might die before they turn 5, so they had extra kids for protection. And then I heard that's why for the first bit. That's why the growth rate happened really fast at first because they're still on the mindset of having lots of kids, but then they're all surviving.
Yeah.
They're like, maybe we should have less kids now.
I mean, definitely that survival bit is, I could definitely see that, because I know that was the case for Abraham Lincoln, one of the presidents, because he had like 5 kids. Only 2 of them made it to their double digits, and even one of them still died young. Only one of them actually lived to adulthood.
Yep, my dad had 8 siblings.
So now we're getting off topic. So
yeah,
we were a little bit off.
We were at Infinity War. Then after Infinity War
was Ant-Man the Wasp.
Yeah, which I haven't about that much yet. So
I guess we'll skip that one.
Captain Marvel.
I did not.
Captain Marvel was the first one I did not see. And a lot of it had to do with the controversy surrounding it. And from what I understand, Captain Marvel is not a very remarkable character because, from what I hear, she is absolutely perfect. No flaws. Like, very emotionless.
I didn't like that part of it either. Yeah. Where she was like, oh, I can beat everybody thing. But also, apparently that was how Nick Fury lost his eye in that movie.
Yeah, like I did hear that was one of the more interesting aspects of the movie, getting to see the younger Nick Fury and Phil Coulson, because I don't know about this aspect, but one thing that the Marvel movies are pretty famous for is their digital de-aging and how they make it look really convincing.
Oh yeah, they did that in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
They did it in the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 with Kurt Russell. They did it with Michael Douglas in the Ant-Man movies. They did it with Samuel L. Jackson, and I think his name is Clark Gregg.
Yeah, and then they did it again for Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, for Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe.
So I guess we'll skip that movie. Yeah. And then what I liked is they brought back the Kree from the Guardians of the Galaxy movie as a threat again.
Yeah.
But so then we go back to we talked about this earlier while you were gone about the myth about the age gap between at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming. They said first it was 8 years. They retconned it. Apparently now 5 years has passed from the end of Infinity Wars to Endgame.
Well, yeah, because the beginning of Endgame is like a direct sequel where Captain Marvel shows up, they wind up tracking down Thanos, and they execute him, like, just at a little... They wanted to look for the stones so they could fix everything, but Thanos had already destroyed them to prevent that, so Thor kills them out of spite, and then there's like a 5-year time skip, and then... you saw Avengers Endgame, right, Eric?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, well, the post-credit scene of Ant-Man the Wasp shows how Ant-Man got trapped in the quantum realm, and then obviously Endgame shows how he got out. And because he was gone for 5 years, like to him, it was like a couple of hours, but he was gone 5 years, and because of that, they just assumed he was one of the people that turned the dust. Well, then he ends up coming up with the whole time travel stuff, and yeah. Because, I skipped Endgame in theaters, which was probably a mistake in hindsight, but...
You did, yeah, because just that scene, like when Captain America picks up Thor's hammer, in the theater, that got such a big reaction, and oh man.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I saw No Way Home in theaters, because I got some reactions.
But speaking of that...
Well, we will get to that when it comes.
But speaking of that real fast, the hammer thing... Apparently, I've been watching some old YouTube videos. Apparently, there's this rumor or something that he could pick up the hammer in Ultron, but he just chose not to. Do you believe that?
Why would he choose not to?
I guess apparently he didn't want to make Thor feel bad or something. Apparently, that's the
well,
rumor.
I think that's in. It's funny because the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games had the first 2 anyway had trivia games to get like XP points. Literally, one of the trivia questions was, which of these characters could not lift Thor's hammer? And I think Captain America was on there, and it was a wrong choice.
Yeah, because apparently there's a slight thing in Ultron. They're doing the hammer lifting contest. I guess he went slightly, and Thor noticed it, and that's why he said, "I knew it" when he that line.
Yeah, because the hammer only lets people who it deems worthy lift it. Like, nobody else can lift it.
So, and then they go back in time. They go back in time, try to changing time, but then that brought up a point I brought up. I can't talk about it at the time. People yelled at me for it, but didn't they create a time loop a little bit because they thought
that's the thing. Oh, go on.
Because the Thanos they killed was from the future. The guy he went back in time to where they were, or it was from the future past. He went to the future to where they are now. The Thanos was from the. So
well, yeah, it's very, very confusing because generally time travel is something really, really tough to do because there's like so many variables you have to consider. Well, because at one point in the movie, they questioned why not just go back to the past and kill Thanos as a baby, and they. What happened?
I did hear people when the movie came out. I did hear that people were complaining about that, saying, "Oh well, why couldn't they just go back in time and stop him as a baby?"
Well,
I definitely did hear that.
Well, and the funny thing is, Hulk brings up that not only is that morally questionable, but it wouldn't even do anything because when they go back to the past and they do that and they come back to the future, supposedly, no, whatever, how they explain it's when you go into the past and you do something in the past, that past is your future or something. It wouldn't change their future. But then that begs the question, how is it that Captain America is able to go back to the past, stay in the past, and then show up in the current present as an old man?
I guess maybe he under the radar of the whole years. He's just stood there that's happened. I can tell. I get.
No, it's just the matter that they say they can't change the past because they would just be going into their own new timeline. But then how is it that he's able to stay in the original timeline?
Yeah, this time travel stuff can get kind of confusing.
Yeah. That's why it's really tough to do it right. Even Back to the Future, which specialized with it, had lots paradoxes related to it.
Yeah, and so I try not to think about it too hard.
Yeah,
that's the route that I take. But yeah, so Avengers Endgame, out of all ways for it to lead up to that, that's why Endgame is one of my favorites in the entire MCU, because all that buildup was totally worth it. It was emotional, and especially when Black Widow died, I didn't see that coming, and because of that, it really raised the stakes for them to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Black Widow, Captain America. He didn't die, but he's out of commission now, and then
Iron Man.
Yeah, Iron Man dies using the stones against. Yeah,
but yeah, that line says, "I am inevitable, and I am Iron Man."
I am Iron Man, and that actually parallels back to the very first Iron Man when he said, "And I am Iron Man." But yeah, that is one of the most memorable scenes in movie history. I am inevitable, and he tricked him. He realized, oh, the stones aren't there. And then he says, "And I am Iron Man." Snapped. Oh man, when I saw that in theaters, the whole crowd went into a big applause.
Yeah,
that was so awesome. That was so satisfying.
Remind me, the thing that happened with Hulk, where he's in his Hulk body, but still has a banner mind. Did they do that just so he could use the glove?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
So what do you think about that?
I
him
don't have a problem with
him
that.
merging Banner and Hulk together as one
Well,
person.
that happened in the comics too.
Oh, did I? I didn't
Yeah,
know.
like in a lot of the old. In fact, what's funny is that the older Marvel, like I think that was something that happened in the comics in the '90s because the old like Marvel versus Capcom games, the Hulk in those games actually talked a lot more intelligently, and that's because it was basically the Hulk and Banner together. So like that was like something the comics did.
Like I don't know the comics that well. I
I know the comics fairly well.
I've never read them, but like I know story bits.
But yeah, I mean, one of the things that was lame in the comics. So in one Amazing Spider-Man comic, it was like Freaky Friday where Dr. Octopus and Peter switched bodies,
Oh yeah, the
and then
Superior Spider-Man.
and then Dr. Octopus turned into gold. That was lame. Like really, he turns into gold.
but speaking of Spider-Man, I think that was no,
I think Far From Home was after.
Yes, yes, because that was hard for them to market Far From Home because it gave away a few spoilers for Endgame.
Namely, that Spider-Man comes back to life.
So yeah, so that was a really hard one for them to market.
Yeah. Also, for at least for the people that know about Spider-Man, it was kind of obvious that Mysterio's a villain. I'm Mysterio. Like, oh, he's a villain.
Yeah, I don't know about both of you, but I did like Mysterio in the movie. Mainly because he had like the charisma to him. I don't know.
But yeah,
what's really interesting about Mysterio, he was played by Jake Gyllenhaal, and Jake Gyllenhaal actually was supposed to replace Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 2.
That's right. Yeah.
So that it was really interesting to finally see him in a Spider-Man movie after all that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
But like I said, unless you didn't know about Spider-Man, you knew he was the villain when you were Mysterio.
But... Yeah, if you knew anything about Spider-Man, like it's funny because sometimes, like, I think the '90s animated series, it started with Mysterio as a villain, but then he kind of sort of he kind of like switched sides, like in his last appearance.
Yeah. Also, I think for a while, till we realized it was their illusions. People thought that Hydro Man would be the movie too.
Oh yeah, Hydro Man. That's right.
But this is an illusion.
Yeah, it was.
Oh.
Let's see. But yeah, like I liked all the illusion stuff they were doing. Like especially in the last fight.
Yeah, I also liked it was interesting that apparently when they came back, they talked about it in the Endgame, but in Spider-Man they talked about they came back to the exact spot they disappeared from.
Yeah, which probably inevitably means some people when they came back died anyway, especially those who were maybe on an airplane.
Yeah, they mentioned that in that once, and they mentioned that in the How Should Have Ended series. Like, oh, some people on boats and the highway and airplanes.
Some people might have turned to dust in spots where there now stands a building, so they rematerialize inside concrete.
But yeah, but the big part of that movie was him trying to have a normal life and date MJ, but nope, you gotta have like, oh no, you're the only guy that can help us now. So,
but yeah, going back to Avengers Endgame, Robert Downey Jr., as far as my understanding goes, he was wanting out of the Iron Man role, which is understandable for him because he was doing it for 10 whole years at that point. Completely understandable. And the way how they ended his character was the best and most satisfying way ever. It was so satisfying. As much as I loved Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, I don't want to see him come back because it's just the way how they wrapped up his character. They had him die in a very heroic way. And that was the best way for them to pull it off.
Do you think his daughter will come back in the future?
His daughter? Yeah, I think so.
It's funny because she was supposed to make an appearance in No Way Home, but they cut the scene.
I think I can see why, because the movie was almost 3 hours long, so I can see why.
Yeah.
And I even saw that Tom Holland's brother even was supposed to have a cameo in it as like
as a drug dealer, but he did not. They cut that too.
But
so yeah, then afterwards was Far From Home. I liked with Far From Home because, you know, I get it that Spider-Man's home is New York, but it was cool to finally see Spider-Man somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's because, you know, with this many Spider-Man movies now, you want to give the audience something different, so then that way it's not going to get too boring.
Yeah.
So yeah, having him somewhere else other than New York, I definitely liked that.
Yeah, I know you guys didn't again talk about this, I guess. So you saw or didn't see Captain Marvel?
I did not see
Captain Marvel.
I did not either.
Oh.
I heard it was not that very good.
Yeah, but
a lot of it boiled down to just the Captain Marvel not being a very interesting.
At the very end of Homecoming, not Homecoming, No Way, Far From Home. They reveal that the Fury and Maria Hill were aliens.
Yeah,
those were aliens that were in Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
a big part. So yeah, like the whole time that they weren't the real people, that they were aliens. But also, I might be wrong about this, but in that movie was that Jameson, the same Jameson from other movies, something like that?
No, it's just the same actor, not the same.
I know, but that's why I meant the same actor.
It is the same actor.
Yeah, it is the same actor, but just I guess different variation.
Is that from the same Sam Raimi trilogy?
That is the actor from the Sam Raimi trilogy. They never got Jameson in the Amazing movies. There's only
but they did hint at him though.
There was one little hint at him where he sends an angry email to Peter, but that was it. Like, we don't actually see him.
One thing that I heard as a rumor for Amazing Spider-Man 2, they actually were considering to get Ice Cube to play him.
Okay.
As weird as it sounds, I think maybe I can see it. As weird as it sounds.
Honestly, I could see it too, all because of the way Ice Cube was in the 21-22 Jump Street.
Yeah. I can see it because of that, and especially with that iconic face he does, like the...
Yes.
To see that, like with J. Jonah Jameson, that would be hilarious.
But yeah. So like in this version, it's the newspapers, they have internet blogs or something. He's
obviously.
But I like that how they updated a bit. But also, I like the one line in the airplane, where MJ was, like Flash had alcohol, was like, I love this place. He's like, ma'am, he's only 15 or 16. He blipped.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise his ID says he's 21 or 22, the age gap thing. So, so then we come where I guess I don't really see other movies really or other series.
After Far From Home, I have no idea what the release order is.
Yeah, but then we get straight the new movie No Way Home, where
I mean, I do know that there was a Black Widow movie, there was Shang-Chi, there was the Eternals. I know that people liked Black Widow and Shang-Chi. Not so much Eternals, but that does go to No Way Home. Yeah,
but basically, it almost happens right after the end of that movie.
Yeah,
his idea is revealed, and apparently everyone still thinks like he mentioned in Far From Home, no one listens to you unless you're a hero. Everyone thinks or thought that Mysterio was a hero because of his thing, but then they all. I like the one line from when he went to Strange to change the future. He's like, well, you try all your best, sorry I can help you. Bet your college, you can go back and fight for your college mission. Peter's like, you can do that after they rejected him.
Yeah, and then Tom Holland famously used to give away spoilers to movies, to the Spider-Man movies and the Marvel movies. And yeah, and Tom Holland did for Far From Home, revealing that, like how he trusted Mysterio when he shouldn't have. And yeah, and Far From Home, I feel like it was a little bit. I mean, I enjoyed Homecoming, but I think I enjoyed Far From Home a little bit more. I thought that the comedy between Ned and his girlfriend, I thought that they were funny.
At the end, they broke up. It was like, this is a Europe thing. We're broken up now. Like, what?
But yeah, then after Far From Home, shoot, what was it?
I'm not sure. I don't really saw the other movies, Infernals or Black Widow or something. I haven't really seen those movies.
Yeah, Black Widow. That's a movie that should have came out before Endgame. It really should have.
And then there's the TV series like WandaVision, and Hawkeye and all those other Loki.
Yeah.
But I think we can talk
yeah,
about
2020. I think that was the first year in a long time where there was not one Marvel movie that came out because of the pandemic. And so that's why that they just relied on all these shows like WandaVision and whatnot.
But yeah, then we get because now we're at the end with No Way Home. We'll talk about that
Yeah, so 2021 of Marvel movies that came out that year. I didn't see Eternals. I heard it wasn't very good.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a Marvel movie myself until later.
I didn't see those, but I didn't see Black Widow. I heard Black Widow was okay, but it's a movie that should have came out before Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
Did you see any of those movies?
I saw none of those. I didn't see Shang-Chi. I didn't see Black Widow. I did not see Eternals. We were just talking about Spider-Man No Way Home, and since I heard that spoilers okay, here's my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
It's been okay, now we can finally talk about No.
It's been a month now, so warning here, everyone else watching. No Way Home spoilers coming right now. Go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, end. Okay. My thoughts on No Way Home, I've said this a couple of times. I'll say it a few times more. Toby and Andrew. That is all.
They are in it. And
yes,
there was so much speculation and whatnot if they were going to be in it or not.
And Andrew Garfield was denying it constantly. Like, even when and it's funny because eventually a short 5-second clip without sound was leaked of Andrew in the costume, which was clearly not from any of the movies. And sure enough, that was in the movie.
It was.
And it wasn't. That shot was in the movie. And even when that clip was shown to Andrew, he still denied it, saying that's not me.
Yeah, I at least where I was at in the audience when I was watching the movie, there were two scenes that people really got into. One was the appearance of Daredevil or Matt Murdock.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming. That surprised me.
And the other one people really loved in the audience where I was at was where Andrew Garfield redeemed himself catching MJ.
Oh, yes. I love that. And
yeah,
what's interesting about that, so on my primary channel, I did a live stream countdown to the second trailer. Then after I saw the second trailer during that shot where you see MJ fall, I then said, hey, I think I have a fan theory. If Andrew is in the movie, I think he's going to save MJ to redeem himself. And I was right. And that was one of the best scenes in the entire movie because you know how much pain and trauma that caused Andrew, knowing that he could not save Gwen. And then he got to redeem himself. He learned his lesson, like that he relied too much on his webs. And so rather than just trying to web at her, he he pretty much just charged right at her, and then he grabbed her. Then he used his web.
Yeah, because I think the same thing happened. I think it happened might have happened differently in the comics, but Gwen died in the comics too. Where I think in the comics her neck snapped or something, but
because of the web hitting it. Only thing is, in Amazing Spider-Man 2, her head still hit the floor.
Yeah.
Whereas in the comics, she didn't hit the floor, but it was entirely Spider-Man's fault.
But like
indirectly, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my audience, when I saw No Way Home, they applauded at Daredevil and they applauded at Andrew and Toby's entrance.
Lucky you, because when I saw it in theaters, I was the only one.
Oh. But yeah, it's funny because I had decided I was not going to see the movie if they were not in, so I actually chose to spoil myself and learn the truth. Only learn the truth, not the extent of it. And when I found out, yes, they were in, I was like, yep, I'm going to see it now. And then throughout the whole thing, I'm guessing, how are they going to come in? And finally, when Ned ends up bringing them in, freaking, I was like, I applauded with the
all right, help me find Peter Parker. But, when he said that, well, though, he wasn't specific about it being the MCU Peter Parker. And so that's why it brought in the other two. And, oh, man, I totally fanboyed out when they brought in Andrew and Toby, because Toby, man, I mean, Toby's incarnation pretty much is what introduced me to Spider-Man. I mean, Toby Spider-Man was my childhood.
Yeah.
I had the games and the comics as a kid.
I don't know about Snick, but yeah, I grew up in the late '90s Spider-Man, like the mid cartoon series.
Spider-Man the animated series.
That was my introduction.
For me, my very, very first introduction to the character, at least as far as I'm aware, I think was actually the PlayStation game, the original. In fact, do I
the one
have
for the PS1?
Yeah, for the PS1. That one. I don't have the PS1 copy immediately available, so I'll just show the Dreamcast version. Yeah, this one here with this cover art.
Yeah, that one. And I believe they used the same engine from that game for the one based off of the first movie with the.
Yes, they did. Well, they used the same gameplay because what happened was Treyarch, they developed the ones based on the Sam Raimi movies. They did the Dreamcast port of that. Like, the PS1 version was done by Neversoft, the Tony Hawk people.
Yeah. And what was weird was that when he was shooting it as webs, it goes straight to the sky. So I'm like, where are the webs hitting at? Is he swinging off of the clouds? Is he swinging off of God up in heaven? Or what?
Well, then in Spider-Man 2, the game, they did make it where he actually attaches them to the buildings.
So do you think they picked the best villains from each of the movies to appear in this thing? Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Sandman.
I do wish that for the Lizard, I wish that they gave him a snout, because now look, I get it for No Way Home. They had to work with what they had, but I'm sorry, but there was a way how that they made some of the other characters more comic book accurate. So I wish they would have done that for the Lizard too. Explain some way how he gets a snout. He just looks goofy without a snout.
Again, also, I think this movie brought up time travel, where they were each of them came back from a different point in time. Each of the villains.
Yeah, they didn't make it clear when Sandman came from, but obviously Lizard was before he was cured, and the other three was before they were killed.
Which brought up the point of internet now multiple timelines now, so they each redeemed.
I mean, it's heavily implied that all three of them were sent back to a much better timeline since they were all cured. But But no, the whole thing is, so they used digital de-aging for Green Goblin and Doc Ock's actors, but for Sandman and Lizard, they actually cut on costs for the production budget by only showing them CG. And for the moment where they're cured, because the original actors were back, only doing the voices though. Because for the brief moment you see them when they're cured, Literally, all they did was cleverly reinsert stock footage from Spider-Man 3 and The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I saw that for Sandman, they actually reused some of the old footage from Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, they did.
Oh yeah, and here is
we warned you.
Yeah, Greg, we warned you, so that's on you. But anyways, so I kid you not, Thomas Hayden Church, who plays the Sandman, I kid you not, he is actually my cousin.
Really?
Yep. Yeah.
Whoa.
Nice.
Badass, huh?
Wow.
Also, I think people like that they didn't make electro blue in this movie. They made
they made it more comic book accurate, and the way how they did it though made sense. When he charges up, it's when he has that like mask thing.
Because the whole thing is like he was blue in the Ultimate comics, like Ultimate Spider-Man. I think the Amazing movies were trying to take off like the Ultimate Spider-Man comics more than they were the classic ones. But yeah, like in the movie, he starts out as blue, but like he ends up losing charge, and that's when he appears as himself again. That's how they explain it away.
Yeah, which I did appreciate that. And I also liked how the Green Goblin even became more comic book accurate with the hood. I mean, granted, he didn't have the green skin, but I feel like that with William Dafoe's acting ability, with his facial expressions, it totally made up for him not having the green skin.
Yeah, I like how they realized that he was evil still. That he got that spider sense, like, looking around.
Spider sense, yeah, and like the whole scene where he like mops the floor with Spider-Man, like Tom Holland's Spider-Man, like that, like the. Many people already are considering like that version of the Green Goblin as like one of the best villains that appeared in the MCU. Like
Definitely.
Like especially in how he did something that not even Thanos could do, freaking piss off Spider-Man enough to want to kill him.
Oh yeah, and I mean that end battle alone between him and Tom Holland. Oh man, that's one of the best end battles I've ever seen because you genuinely could tell Tom Holland was pissed, and it makes sense because he killed Aunt May.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's where they got the line finally in that series.
With great power comes great responsibility.
I'm guessing that means Uncle Ben did not exist in the MCU.
No, he did.
He did actually. If you see the What If, the Marvel What If.
They also hinted at
there actually is a scene where the Tom Holland Spider-Man actually does talk about Uncle Ben.
And also, also in Far From Home, there's this little tiny little thing in a suitcase. Initials are BFP on the suitcase. That's Ben Parker initials on the suitcase. So little tiny thing there.
Because I had only seen the movies themselves, so I didn't even see I guess I didn't even see any hints towards it because he doesn't talk about it.
Yeah.
But he did talk about it in What If, but I think that in the MCU, though, Uncle Ben just didn't say that famous line. Instead, now it's Aunt May.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
not a problem.
They kind of had it in Amazing Spider-Man. Uncle Ben pretty much said the same thing, but, just more drawn out.
Mm-hmm.
And then Peter's dad was supposed to say, with great power comes with great responsibility in Amazing Spider-Man 2, but that
scene that was cut, yeah.
Yeah. I really wish that they had that. I feel like that would have made the movie at least a little bit better.
So, what do you think about? Think that's going to go anywhere in the future? I don't know if I can appear make friends with him again, but that Ned had nothing of power. So, think it's going anywhere in the future?
Now, Ned, I believe in the comics did become the Hobgoblin, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
That's what I thought was going to happen in No Way Home, to be honest with you. I thought it did. And, sorry, I have to mention this. Going back to the final battle scene, I loved how it was Tobey Maguire who ended up stopping Tom Holland. Killing him. And it makes total sense. It makes sense that out of all of them that it would have been him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so where do I think they can go? Well, at the very end, we see that Tom Holland's costume is a lot more comic book accurate.
Mhm.
So we might see some solo adventures.
Yeah.
And they even had a reference to like the rent guy from Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. I guess. Well, think of the spell. So no one. At first, all he's going to have no one remembering Peter Parker was Spider-Man. Now, no one knows Peter Parker at all. Period.
Yeah, that's what it
So-
was.
Oh, here's what I think can happen. So there's been a big campaign online for them to finally make Amazing Spider-Man 3 and for them to make the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 4. I definitely think that with how big of a hit No Way Home was, I really think that they are going to.
Especially people have been asking, like some people, a lot more like especially for Andrew to get Amazing Spider-Man 3 because they felt like he was really cheated with like the first two. Like there's also campaigns for Spider-Man 4, but there's also a large group of people that are just kind of happy that Tobey got to be in No Way Home, and they're kind of accepting, like, if that's the point where they want to stop with him, that's okay, because Tobey is kind of getting a little bit old to be doing it.
Yeah, I mean, he's almost 50.
Yeah.
So I think that they'll finally do Spider-Man 4, just to give fans a more proper...
Unless they... Like, either if they do that, they're either going to have, like Spider-Man going to have the DA gem and CGI.
They actually did not de-age Tobey for the...
They did not. No,
but if they ever do Spider-Man 4, I mean... But
you definitely could.
If they at this point if they made Spider-Man 4, it would probably be after No Way Home.
True, that's true, I guess. But I guess that'd be a good thing. Though. Maybe that could be the introduction of Miles. An older Spider-Man needs a younger guy to do his thing, kind of like Batman Beyond.
I guess, but at the same time, they want to save Miles for the MCU itself.
There actually technically is a Batman Beyond version of Spider-Man, like
2099.
Yeah, so that would be cool to see that in a live-action movie. But I know that he is going to be in the Into the Spider-Verse sequel.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and but yeah, I guess you could argue in a way maybe No Way Home technically is Spider-Man 4, and it technically is Amazing Spider-Man 3. Okay, my camera's out of focus.
Okay.
But yeah, I definitely really do think that they are going to do Amazing Spider-Man 3. And I definitely think that they'll do Spider-Man 4, especially now considering that Sam Raimi actually is going to come back for
Doctor Strange.
For Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
All right. I have no idea what's going on.
Also, I know it's not the MCU, but I loved how at the end of Carnage they dropped in the hit.
They dropped Venom in.
Yeah.
Some people didn't like how they dropped him in just to take him right back out. And literally the only thing is they dropped a little piece of the symbiote.
Yeah, that's what.
That's what people are guessing for the next one, that the symbiote might bond.
I have no
with
idea
him.
why my camera's doing this.
Yeah, but yeah, at that point, I love the mid. I love the mid-credit scene about the symbiote more than I like the end-credit scene with Doctor Strange.
I think I finally fixed it.
At least in my opinion.
Well, a lot of people didn't like the Doctor Strange one. And the funny thing is, originally, they were going to have a post-credit scene which would have had Tobey and Andrew back in their own universes. But then they ended up cutting it.
Yeah, and I heard that. I heard that Emma Stone and Kristen Dunst were supposed to come back.
I just heard Dunst came back.
Cut, but how could they got cut because of the pandemic?
How could I understand Kristen Dunst because he was still alive, but how could Emma Stone come back? She's dead by that point.
Maybe as like a flashback or like a memory.
Or ghost, maybe a ghost.
Yeah, a ghost or something.
Or maybe just for a photo shoot or something from the look at it.
But yeah, also, where at the end where Peter decided not to reveal himself to his friends, to keep them safe, Also, but yeah, you kind of noticed that. I don't. Maybe it was just me or not, and me and my shipping thing, but you kind of maybe noticed that she like in her, maybe see like when he's talking to her, mentally she doesn't know him, but like you can see that her face, like maybe he looks somewhat familiar. It's like the thing is your mind doesn't remember, but your heart remembers things. Well, meme
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I mean, to be fair, going back to Toby being too old, I mean, Michael Keaton is gonna reprise his role as Batman for the Flash. I mean, Michael Keaton's getting pretty old too.
He's 70.
He's 70?
70. He just turned 70 last year, I think.
Dang.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there have been other actors who've been old who have still played superheroes. Like I think Ben Affleck is getting pretty old too.
Yeah, I think he's like in his mid-50s at least.
Affleck. Well, the guy from the.
He's the one who played Batman, like in Justice League and all that.
Yeah. No, I think it Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
That movie, just. I'm sure you saw Erica's last two clip movie.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
As far as Amazing Spider-Man 3, what could the plot be about? I guess with the Venom symbiote, maybe Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man will fight against his version of Venom.
Tom Hardy's.
Yeah, that reminds me that all these new does all this Venom Carnage the Venom Carnage stuff, I know it's not the MCU in the Morbius. I know it's not the MCU, but is that in the Amazing Spider-Man universe, or is that a totally different universe?
As far as we know, it's in its own universe, but there are theories it might be in the Amazing universe, because people are wondering, well, if Spider-Man's going to appear in the Venom universe, which one is he going to fight? And a lot of people actually want it to be Andrew.
I actually think it would be cool if he fought against. I think it would be cool if he fought against all three. But I mean, Toby already did fight his version of because Toby has experience fighting against Venom. Toby actually could help them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, another time thing. I'm just wrong. I lost my train of thought. You go on.
Because, I mean, when they're having, that discussion at the Statue of Liberty, at one point, Tom's Spider-Man is like, oh, what villains did you fight? And then Toby even brings up Venom.
Yeah, he does. Then after that, Andrew actually does bring up Rhino.
He brings up Rhino, and then Tom brings up Thanos.
Yeah, and I actually thought that Rhino actually was going to have, a surprise cameo in the movie. But I was surprised that he didn't come back. They brought back all these other villains, but not him.
I remember there was a very early story treatment leak that I read, on a news website, that it was it opened basically the same way as the final movie did, but it had Andrew coming in much earlier, and it had, Toby coming in, for the last third of the movie. But that version, I tried finding it again, but I couldn't find it. But that one actually had Rhino in it.
Well,
so
it's a double-edged sword. We would have gone less Toby, but we would have had Rhino.
Yeah.
I remember the thing I'm talking about now. One is the thing everyone forgot about Peter, but did that mean Spider-Man still helped the Avengers in Civil War and stuff?
The thing is, I don't think there's really enough information to tell. We know that they still know who Spider-Man is because the Jameson freaking still reports on him as a
and so did Happy remembers Spider-Man, not Peter. So that they know maybe he helped Civil War, but Iron Man, but maybe Tony didn't know his identity or something, I guess.
Well, it's entirely possible. Well, because Iron Man's already dead at that point, they could have just simply made it to where, the knowledge died with him. I don't know.
Because like I said, they still know Spider-Man, but they don't know Peter. And you think, or in your opinion, do you think again this memory thing of his friend, at least of his friends or his girlfriend and stuff? Will they eventually? Will think the spell will break and they'll remember him, or should they, or become friends with them later on, or like completely written out the series?
I have no idea.
What's your opinion, Eric?
My opinion on what? Sorry.
Sorry, if MJ and Ned will remember Peter, the spell will break, or they become friends again off screen, or
I think he's gonna have to. I think it'll be similar to like from Shrek Forever After, like where pretty much like where Shrek gets Fiona to fall in love with him all over again. I think it will be something similar to that.
Okay.
That's what I personally think.
Yeah, I don't know if like that will happen or something will happen in memory. Like I remember something, but I can't remember what it is. So all right. So overall, this is start of phase 4, right? We're in phase 4 now.
Well, phase 4 started a while ago.
Oh.
So yeah, so next will be phase 5.
Are we that far? Are we in phase 5 already, or is it still?
I think it's still phase 4.
Yeah, so phase 4 should be wrapping up here pretty soon. Excuse me, but yeah, I heard what's next. Fantastic Four reboot. Let's hope that they finally get it right, because man, Fantastic Four they do not have a good track record.
So,
yeah,
are they separate again, or are they going to be part of the MCU now?
MCU, part of the MCU, and it's going to be directed by John Watts.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's going to be directed by John Watts, who did the recent Spider-Man trilogy.
Yeah.
So for a new Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, might have to be directed by somebody else.
Okay, cool. So, wrapping it up now. I know Stick doesn't have anything anymore because
and I guess a new X-Men.
Yeah,
but
what about you, Eric? What's your any future plans on your channel?
Well, I go back to college the 19th, and starting the 19th, I'm not gonna have as much time. Yeah. I have a few plans for Eric the Tyrannoceratops. There's this really absurd documentary called The Dinosaur Deception, where it's this flat earther trying to argue that dinosaurs didn't exist. I plan on debunking that. And for Eric Virtholer 92, I'm gonna do a things that piss me off about people who give away spoilers to movies.
Ah, that would be interesting.
That will be, because that actually generally pisses me off. When I went to go see Halloween Kills, on the day of, this guy who I used to be friends with gave away a spoiler to me on the day of. And I had the first Sonic movie spoiled for me by the fact that Tails was in it. I had Marley and Me spoiled for me. And yeah, it just really ruins the experience. Yeah. Like when somebody spoils a movie for you. So
yeah,
I mean, it's one thing. I mean, because I mentioned the only reason I wanted to see Spider-Man No Way Home was because I wanted to know if Toby and Andrew were in. So I intentionally spoiled myself on that just because I wanted to know. But that's all I did. But if most cases you don't want to know, and it's like an asshole-ish thing.
Real fast.
It is.
Spoilers coming in. Spoilers coming in 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. No.
Aha. Okay.
But yeah, and one other thing I have planned for Eric Virtholer 92. So it was mentioned earlier in this live stream that I finally got to make a movie that was on my bucket list. And my movie, you can go watch it on Eric Virtholer 92. It's a parody of Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, where instead of the snap turning people into dust, it turns people into deniers of dinosaurs. There actually is a sequel being currently planned. The sequel is going to start filming in the summer after my semester ends in May. So I'll start filming it at around May. Yeah, some of the only ones who are going to reprise their roles from the first movie is only going to be me and Travis. Wait, some of the people who made cameos said that they're going to reprise their roles, but yeah, so yeah, the sequel is being aimed to come out this year. Then after that, there's a third movie planned. The third movie is going to come out next year. So
I'll sneak real fast. There's a thing on the chat I can't show up here, but it says Shrek MCU crossover.
Oh yeah. Who said that?
As see, it was Honduras in the
Oh, all
in
right.
the chat. Yes. But anyways, for me, besides my besides my New Year's resolution this year to hit 2,000 subs, that was my goal January 1st. Like I'm at 2,000 subs this year. So, but also, but for the show next Saturday, I'm not going for the plan. Jackson will be on my channel talking about our egg-laying cousins, the monotremes.
I mean, I don't have any specific YouTube plans because
You like YouTube, right?
Huh?
You said you stopped doing.
I kind of did. I did it for a very long time. I was making Let's Play videos and live streams and game reviews mainly. But then I kind of dropped off hard. Like, occasionally I might do a live stream here and there, but at the moment, most of my current plans are... So, most of what I do in my spare time is I edit together marathons of shows I like, and it's like a fun editing personal project for myself. I also mess around with like some stuff. Oh, that's lovely. Shrek.
But yeah,
okay. At least break out the
yeah, like I also do. Sometimes I also do achievement development on a website called retroachievements.org. So yeah, I keep and of course, other than work, I keep busy. So,
but yeah, that's how me and him met online. I was a guest star in a Kingdom Hearts video, and so was a friend of his, and commented, and we met. He knew that friend, and I talked to that friend, commented on one of his videos. Then I commented on his video, and then we started doing collabs.
It's funny because the YouTube channel he's referring to died long ago. Like, it hasn't uploaded in many years. But yeah, like, I don't do a whole lot with I don't do a whole lot of YouTube stuff these days, mainly because I lost interest. But I keep busy with internet stuff.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. I'll hopefully I'll see you in the future when you get to college, and I guess I'll keep in touch, Nick. And you know,
yeah, I'm not sure my availability because of my work. I mean, I had the time today, but
anyway, I forget. Eric, do you have a catchphrase you say at the end of your show? You any catchphrases?
Well, I have two catchphrases. Hunt for things that piss me off. At the very end, I'll go, "Have a nice freaking day." And then for Eric the Tyrannoceratops, it goes, "I am Eric the Tyrannoceratops, and I'm out."
Oh, hey, before we go, also, you want to show us, Nick, your avatar for? Can you show him here, or
maybe if I could do a screen share.
It's a cute little avatar thing.
Wait, is it the freaking CG dinosaur thing?
No, that would be Dapper Dino.
Oh, okay. Because I saw.
Okay, okay. Now you guys can see my screen. Okay. All right.
Oh, I think I see that.
Yep, right there.
Aha.
Yeah, a Tyrannosaurus and Triceratops combined together.
Yep. Eric the Tyrannoceratops. That's my second channel. That one's my counter creationism, counter pseudoscience channel. I'm looking into debunking anti-vaxxers, especially now with like the COVID vaccine and people spreading misinformation on that. If I did that, that definitely would bring in a lot more views.
Yeah, there's tons of misinformation about not just the vaccines but COVID in general.
There is, yeah. Like, people have said that, oh, it's nothing but just the flu. Wow, when they're ignoring that the flu actually has killed people. And I've had the flu before. It sucks.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Vandalia here remembers I had the flu a couple of times. In fact, Vandalia, you remember the whole Crash Bash thing?
Yeah.
I was when the Shrek disc was broken and I was laughing my ass off at it, at one point I was yelling, I can't breathe. That's because I literally could not breathe. I had trouble breathing because of how hard I was laughing, and I had a massive sore throat because of a flu I was coming down with.
Oh, oh, nice. That. Oh, that. Oh, you go
This
on.
is the one where I debunk the argument
Oh.
evolution is just a theory. When they say that, they don't understand what a scientific theory is.
But yeah. Anyways, I forget, Snick. Did you have a catchphrase that you said or not?
Nah, I never really had a catchphrase.
All right.
Yeah, like when it comes to my YouTube stuff, probably the most elaborate thing I've done in recent memory is an April Fool's joke last year. Basically, what I did was I took clips that I had recorded for an unreleased review of Shrek on Xbox, and I basically did a fake out where I gave my first impressions about the PS5.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, I think the last time I actually watched your channel was 2 years ago when you were doing your stream let's play of Kate's 3.
Oh yeah.
Which burned me out because I was trying to be on hard mode. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, I was burnt out on Cage 3 after that, especially since I didn't really like the ending that much, but yeah.
Anyways. Okay, so I always say, never stop learning and enjoy the randomness. We'll see you all next week.
Thank you all for watching.